Tonight's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network, brought to you by DAZN. The old way of watching sports is over. You can stream over 100 fight nights a year without the pain of pay-per-view. Their next big fight, Canelo Alvarez, Daniel Jacobs, champion versus champion. What a story. Daniel Jacobs fought his way back from cancer. Canelo Alvarez, boxing prodigy. 3 world titles on the line. Who's going to take it all? It is coming up first weekend in May. Subscribe now. Get DAZN. Sign up. That's how you got to watch this. Check it out. You know I'll be watching. I love the big fights. We're also brought to you by State Farm. During the playoffs, a clutch teammate makes all the difference. With the State Farm agent on your team, you have someone who comes in clutch when you need it most. I don't know if they'll be as great as Damian Lillard was in round 1. I mean, even if it's 99% as great, it would be the best State Farm agent ever. Man, was he clutch. Draft a State Farm agent to your team. Save when you combine your home and auto insurance. State Farm, here to help life go right. We're also brought to you by TheRinger.com, the world's greatest website, where we are in our full glory this week with the NBA playoffs, with the Game of Thrones, with our Game of Thrones show, Talk the Thrones, on Twitter. Sunday nights with the Avengers, which is just absolutely mammoth, with about 2/3 of our staff. NFL draft. We've been all over it. You name it, we have it. Check all of it out. TheRinger.com, The Ringer Podcast Network. Coming up, we're going to call my dad because John Havlicek passed away. One of the best NBA players ever. Definitely a top 15, 16. And one of my first favorite Celtics, but somebody that we had a unique connection to. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Patriots draft as well. And then old friends, Desus and Mero, were in town, and as usual, a rollicking conversation with them. A rollicking conversation with them. So we're going to get that in a second. But first, our friends from Pearl Jam. All right, we're taping this part of the podcast. It is midnight East Coast time. And my dad, incredibly, still awake, age 72? No, 71.
71.
It's a great job by you. Well, when we're going to talk about John Havlicek in a second, who meant a lot to both of us, but I wanted to mention we just watched the end of the first round, the NFL draft. The Patriots are up. We pick an exciting guy for the first time in a while.
Well, it was kind of funny because the two teams before us, both of them made trades.
Yeah.
And weren't you sitting there thinking we're the next team to make a trade?
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I never thought we were going to make the pick.
Just expecting them to either make a trade down or take like a left guard or something.
Right.
No, they actually take this wide receiver from Arizona State, who's pretty exciting. And
yeah, in the Globe, he was picked to go in the first round to Green Bay, and they talked about how he'd be a great fit with Aaron Rodgers, and he fights for the ball, goes up for the ball, makes great over the shoulder catches, can run well after the route, after the catch. I'm pleased with the pick. I don't think I could have standed trading it or picking an offensive guard or another safety or cornerback.
So his name is N'Keal Harry. Old friend Mike Lombardi was big on him this week, saying how a legitimate receiver, a guy can play anywhere in the field when the ball's in his hand. He's a beast. He's a freaking beast. Raving about him. And then another thing, in the Ringer NFL Slack, where everybody hates the Patriots, a lot of F-bombs and general dismay that we got this guy. So that was a good sign too. Yeah. Mallory Rubin, Ravens fan, Patriots hater, upset. And apparently might be a punt returner. He's got some size. Now, the funny thing is we finally make an exciting pick and ESPN just immediately ends the telecast, which I thought was hilarious. Like, don't ever change ESPN.
They went back to it. You didn't stay on.
Oh, they went back to it?
Yeah, they went back to it. And that's what I thought you were going to comment on. They showed about a 3 or 4 minute montage of him with a cell phone video when he went to visit Grenada, I think, where his family was from. And then they showed highlights of him on the field. And they showed him going up for a catch. It was like a jump ball catch.
Wow.
It. And then he cut across the field. 6 or 7 guys tried to tackle him. He outran them.
Oh, this is exciting.
He's a big guy, too. He's almost
He's 6'2".
built like a tight end.
Yeah. All right. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Patriots finally making a fun pick and somebody who might play this year and catch some balls. Who knows?
Well, fun pick and a big need. And now they have 2 second-rounders and 3 third-rounders. They have other needs. I mean, we have to get an offensive lineman. We have to get a defensive tackle, and a tight end, and maybe a quarterback of the future, although I'm not sure in this draft. But I like the pick. Usually I'm not so happy about the pick, but made sense for this team at this time.
Then they had to. The other thing, other than cutting away and ending the telecast right after we picked, was they had to show the Tom Brady turns 42 in August graphic. It was just classic. It was all the way through. Don't ever change ESPN.
Yeah.
The most fun thing of the whole draft was the Giants taking the guy from Duke, number 6, which we had been joking about in the Ringer offices, on the Ringer Slack. It had been a running joke that the Giants were going to do this. Danny Kelly, who covers the NFL for us, he did a top 100 that he had worked on and slaved over. He did an incredible job with it. Did not even want to put this guy in the top 100. And his editors made him put him 100th, this Daniel Jones.
I saw that.
because they figured he was going to get taken in the first round by some dumbass team. He ends up going 6th to the Giants. The Giants fans are as angry at their team as anything I can remember in the NFL. They are so angry and frustrated. It's unbelievable.
Did you see Colbert interview him after he got picked?
No.
Oh, well, a couple of impressions. First of all, he looks like the classic second or third round quarterback on the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Secondly,
that doesn't sound like a good thing.
He had a deer in the headlight look. He looked like he was terrified. He just got picked. He didn't want to get picked that early. He wanted to get picked later. The expectations, he talked about how he knows the Mannings and his coach the Mannings, and he can learn from Eli.
Yeah.
He can learn from Eli. or Eli's my age. I mean, I just loved it. And the guy on the telecast, who I thought was pretty good, I can't remember his name, who loved the kid from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Was
Haskins.
just kind of dumbfounded, wasn't he?
Yeah. I had to drive Ben to baseball practice, and it was right during like the 4th, 5th, 6th picks, and I was driving back, and it was between the 5th and 6th pick, and I was racing back because I wanted to get here in time in case the Giants took that guy. And I was at like a stoplight, and they took him, and I was just dying laughing. I was thinking, like, if there was anybody in the lane next to me just looking over at me, they would have thought I was mentally ill. I was like, doubled over. Oh my God, they did it. And then everybody was making jokes about how the New York team tanked to get the Duke guy, but nobody thought it was going to be the Giants. That's who they ended up with.
I have to say that one of my fears, because there were rumors that the Patriots liked him.
Yeah.
I don't know where those started. I was afraid we were going to take him.
Yeah, I didn't want him at 32, and the Giants took him at 6. Congratulations to them. They took 2 of our Super Bowls. I just wish them eternal failure and damnation.
Yeah, that could be another part of why I'm laughing, but they did steal 2 of our Super Bowls. But
I guess.
Hey, good. It was a good night. We filled the need. Guy, I wish you had seen the tapes after they came back from commercial. He just looks like a nice guy too. I mean, to repeat myself, he's huge. 6'3", pretty heavy, runs a pretty good 40.
Oh, you're really excited about this guy. What about how funny was the Raiders going off the menu at number 4? Shocking the drafting. I love that too.
It looked like a classic mistake, didn't it?
Yeah.
They kept saying it was an overreach, but it looked like there were a couple of guys sitting there that looked terrifying if you're an offensive player, and the guys, the linebacker, and I can't remember who took him.
Well, Tampa got the guy at number 5. But then, Josh Allen goes 7 to the Jaguars, which made me bad.
Boy, he looks terrifying.
Yeah, that made me mad. And then,
yeah.
It was funny when the Pats took a wide receiver. Kyle just wanted somebody fun. He's just so tired of left guards, even though we've won 6 Super Bowls. It's hard to complain about anything. But he just wanted like a fun toy for Brady because no Gronk,
I was worried. I looked at my draft board, which of course is just simply the globe thing, and there was in the top 20 they had a guard tackle. It was Kobe Ford.
Yeah.
And he looked like our classic number 32 pick, didn't
he? We took that.
He'd be the swing tackle. We still need a tackle, by the way, but I didn't want. I'm fine.
We took the wide receiver, and Kyle goes, "Yes, fucking finally!" Just standing up, pumping his fist.
Well, the irony is, we took a running back at 32 last year.
We're taking skill guys.
Mixed feelings about him, but I guess he did pretty well as a rookie. And now we take a wide receiver at 32. Not typically Bill Belichick picks.
More importantly, we're in the same division with the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins, so that's great.
Yeah,
it's another win for us. It's going to be fun to see what happens. Really, other than that, I guess the Redskins getting Haskins seemed pretty lucky. The Steelers trading up to get a linebacker who everybody really liked. That was smart.
A pretty good trade to jump up 10 spots and get what everybody
liked that one.
Everybody liked that linebacker, yeah. And they always have good linebackers and good wide receivers.
Well, fun night. Always love the draft. This is such a fun time of the year with the basketball playoffs, the NHL.
I think I probably like tomorrow night even as much.
Oh, the second round.
It's two rounds.
Yeah.
And we have 5 picks right now in those 2 rounds. Of course, who knows? I hope tomorrow Belichick doesn't trade down and try to get 4th and 5th rounders, which I hate.
Yeah.
Use the 5 picks. We have holes. It's a big draft, as you have said in your podcast.
Well, I know Belichick, who's won 6 Super Bowls, appreciate when we weigh in with our advice. I know he appreciates that.
I know he listens to your podcast.
I know he's on the fence with some decisions tomorrow. So thank God we've weighed in. Yeah, and then we had the Bruins, the Game 7. And you're excited about that. You're the only person I know who watches regular season hockey.
I do like regular season. I like this Bruins team. They have great team chemistry, camaraderie. They've had each other's back all year, but it was very. It looked bad there. We could have been up 5-0. I don't know if you watched it because you were doing the. I was channel surfing. Obviously.
No, I watched the Game 7.
They could have been up 4-0 in the first period.
I wasn't worried.
They totally dominated that first period. And then you start to worry when you only get 1 goal. And then Coyle has the giveaway.
Yeah, that was.
And
great.
Something bad's going to happen, and it does. And then they get the lucky bouncing off the guy's body on the second goal. And then Coyle
Dad, this is way too much hockey talk. This is already way too much hockey talk for our audience.
Okay,
yeah.
But we did win in overtime, and that was really exciting.
So let's talk about how you were in Cuba quickly. You went to Cuba with your wife. You screwed up. You screwed up the scheduling. You thought the Masters was the weekend before. Your number one sports wish in life, because all your Boston teams have won titles now since you've been retired. Your number one wish in life was for Tiger Woods to win the Masters. And when it happened, you were in a foreign country with no Wi-Fi and no cable television.
I don't want to talk about this. I read about it. As soon as I got back in the room, I did have Wi-Fi in the room.
So now what's your number one sports wish? For him to win the U.S. Open when you're actually watching? Where do you go from here?
Well, why couldn't he have won last year when I had my
when you went?
Birthday present? I was at the Masters. It's bad luck. I was so happy and so sad at the same moment. But what are you going to do?
So now what's your new number one sports wish?
I'd like to see Tiger win 3 more majors.
Oh, you want to see him beat Jack? That's your new number one sports wish?
No, that tie Jack.
You want them to tie? I like that. So you don't have to pick.
I like him to tie.
Your 2 favorite golfers. That's good.
Well, from 2 different eras. So I'd be very satisfied if they both if he retired at 18 majors, and certainly then he would beat Snead's total victory record. So.
I can't believe you were in Cuba when Tiger won the Masters. I can't
either.
believe those two things happened at the same time.
I mean, Cuba was great, but it was the wrong weekend, wrong week to be in Cuba.
How about this? Look at a calendar. Seems like a decent idea. Maybe pick the weekend that's not the Masters. That could have happened.
It was the Art and Music Festival. You know how much I'm into art and music.
Yeah, two of your favorites.
Yeah, really.
Celtics, do you Celtics Bucks, optimistic, semi-optimistic, kind of optimistic, or pessimistic?
Cautiously optimistic.
Oh, wow. Really?
Cautiously optimistic.
You're back on Kyrie. You've forgiven him for his behavior this season?
I'm not really thinking about Kyrie. I like the way the team is playing.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I like the way Tatum has shown up.
Yeah.
He's going to the basket. I like the way Hayward seems to not hesitate, and he's going quickly to the basket.
It's a new Hayward. Yeah.
New Hayward. I like how Horford's playing. They're going to miss Smart, but hopefully that gets kind of balanced out by Brogdon not coming back too early.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Let's talk about Hondo.
Okay.
We knew this day was coming. That he wasn't doing well the last couple months, and the Celtics and the family kept it quiet, but it was definitely wasn't looking good.
You knew this?
Yeah, it seemed like it was headed this way for a couple weeks, unfortunately. But age 79, you tweeted about the first year you bought season tickets. It was one season ticket, 1973-74 season. Celtics win the title. Your first year as a season ticket holder. That's when you were bringing me in. Hondo was the guy on that team. Hondo, in that finals, played 289 of 291 minutes.
Unbelievable, huh?
Yeah.
That team had no depth. I mean, as you said, it was our first season ticket. I bought one ticket. You wrote about it in the prologue of your basketball book. I carried you into almost every game. That team had Hondo, Silas, Cowens, and JoJo, and Westfall was in that team, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a sub.
Okay, but they didn't really have much beyond that, and they certainly were not expected to beat Jabbar's, Kareem's Milwaukee Bucks in that finals. I don't think. They had Oscar. Didn't he have Oscar in that Milwaukee
They had
team?
tail end of his career, Oscar Robertson.
Okay, yeah.
Jabbar was, at the peak of his powers that year, and he was being guarded by Cowens.
I suspect you don't remember much about going to those games.
I don't remember anything until the 75 season. I remember a little bit. I remember, but then 76 was the first.
But you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was there in body.
You were there in body. And
I remember 76 though, because I remember the triple OT game, and that was when he's playing on 1 foot basically.
That's right.
But wins that one too. He was 8-0 in the finals, which I thought was an incredible mark. But just the durability and the flexibility. That was when I was studying him, when I was writing my book. Like, there just was nobody like him, because he was the first guy who could play guard or forward. So no matter who you had on your team, he could just kind of be malleable with the crew you had. And it's like, oh, you need me to play forward? I'll do that. You need me to guard this guy? I'll do that. And he was, a prototype for some of the guys that we're seeing now, where these guys that can guard 3-4 positions.
I vaguely recalled, and then I looked it up, that you had written a magazine article about him.
Yeah.
And it was so I pulled it up. It was actually 12 years ago, 2007.
Yeah.
And you wrote about that, his last game, and we were there. You said you were sitting in my lap still. I thought we had a second seat by then, but maybe not. Maybe it was the next year. And how the game couldn't start because there was an 8-minute standing ovation. I think as long as probably for Larry Bird, if I remember. Don't you think? I
think it was longer because, and the reason I wrote that piece was I was flipping channels and they showed that game and they showed the whole ceremony, and 8.5 minutes is a long time. That's as long as like Stairway to Heaven or Hotel California or any like long rock song. It's as long as some short videos that are on TV, but the crowd just loved him. He was certainly one of the 4 or 5 most popular Boston athletes in my lifetime. And
Right.
when I was growing up, you know, when we were living in Brookline, it was him and Bobby Orr were the two guys who were just, you know, I think they were 1 and 2. Yaz was, I think, 3. I don't think he was. I think Orr was 1, Havlicek was 2, and Yaz was probably 3. But they were all very similar in that they were these old school, didn't say a lot, you know, just kind of lead by examples, tough, played through pain, did all of it. All 3 of them were, you know, kind of wired the same way. And Havlicek, once he retired, that was it. He was really gone. He was not somebody that stayed in the limelight at all.
Well, he wasn't from Boston. So.
No, he wasn't.
But, you know, the other part was, if you think about it, he played 60s and retired in 78.
Yeah.
There was no internet. So we didn't get to know players in the same way. I mean, we didn't know much about their private lives, except, you know, a kind of a funny little story. You had a mad crush on his wife. I mean, we used to sit near the player wives.
It wasn't his wife. It was his daughter. He had a daughter that was the same age, and they used to sit in the section right next to me.
Maybe it could have been both of them.
Maybe I did like both. I did like older women.
The mother-daughter combo.
They were both adorable.
They were both. His wife Beth had blonde hair. The daughter had blonde hair.
I had good taste.
Yeah, and they sat right near us, and it just seemed like a perfect family, nice people. But you didn't know anything about them. You didn't read much about them except in the Boston Globe. And again, no internet, so you didn't have stories like that. And we knew him as a great Celtic. You know, for me, the Cowens and Havlicek, that combo was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that team had no reason to win in 74 and 76, except they played so hard. And Silas was terrific too, but sad to see him go. And it was fun to reread your column.
I had, when I did my book, I did the 5 levels, and the final level was the Pantheon, and he was the toughest call trying to figure out if he was in the Pantheon or not. And I think I ended up making him the best guy in level 4, 1 below, because he never won the MVP. Right. But other than that, like one of the great athletes in the history of the league. So like the playing 16 years in the 60s and 70s was kind of unheard of. Right. It was really him and Kareem in the first, I would say, 45 years of the league. Those were the only 2 guys who had that kind of durability. And especially when you add the playoff minutes and all the playoff games that he played during the Russell era, like that was crazy. 7 second-team All-NBAs. He made second-team All-NBA 13 years apart. 4 straight first-team All-NBAs. He made 5 all-defense teams, but they really didn't have those in the 60s. When he retired, he was in the top 5 in every category, the relevant category, except assists and rebounds. Bill Russell said in 1974 he was the best all-around player I ever saw. He was just great. And that was one of the reasons I wrote that column, is sometimes these guys just disappear and you don't think about them again. You know, and he's never gets mentioned.
Why I think you wrote the column. I think if you read it, it's in your archives from your ESPN days. It's in the back page of the magazine from the June 11th, 2007.
You're the only one who kept the magazine. Well, he had the iconic steal in 65.
Right.
66 finals. He played all 48 minutes in the final game. In the 68 finals, 26, 9, and 8 in the 19 playoff games. But this was crazy. He was Russell's lead assistant. Remember, Russell was the player coach. He made Havlicek his lead assistant. So Havlicek was actually the assistant coach on 2 finals teams. In the 1969 finals, he averaged a 25, 10, and 6 on the last Russell championship team. In the 69 playoffs, 850 minutes in 18 games. He played 47.2 minutes per game in the 1969 playoffs. Now, granted, they didn't do the running they did now, but
he did.
He did. He was the only one, and I compared him to like a marathon runner in the stuff I've written about him, where his game was a lot like how JJ Redick plays. Like he was like just constantly moving and trying to wear out the other team. In 73, which you always said was the best Colin Havlicek team, they won 68 games, but he separated his shooting shoulder in the Knicks series in the Eastern Finals and played left-handed in the last 3 games. And they almost won. They literally almost won. And he had no right hand. Can you imagine if somebody did that now?
But that game is what motivated me to want to have Celtics season tickets.
Yeah.
And that led me to go to the office and get that single ticket. I was so impressed by that team and that effort by Havlicek. And I mean, it was kind of like when you got the Kings tickets, it was the right place at the right time.
Right.
2 championships in the first 3 years.
The tickets were $4 a game.
$4 for a single ticket, and we had a single ticket. Yeah.
And my mom was not happy about it.
Very unhappy.
You're celebrating your 50th anniversary in 2 months, but unfortunately have not been together for the last 41 of them.
True.
So 74, they beat the Bucks, and he made another clutch shot in that game, in the double overtime game that Kareem ended with the great skyhook. And then in 76, he had plantar fasciitis, which we didn't even know what that was called back then.
Right.
And played through it the whole playoffs and was on a minute limit and was supposed to only play 25 minutes a game. He played 58 minutes in game 5 in the triple overtime game. And one of the all-time warrior, durable, clutch, great guys who, if you're doing any all-time team, he's on it for the first 40, 45, 50 years of the league. When they did the 35th anniversary team, and he was one of the 11 guys they picked, which I think matters.
Yep.
In the big scheme of things. So he was really great. And, a good example of sometimes even superstars fall through the cracks. I felt like that when I was reading about the Sixers were retiring Moses Malone's number. I read that a couple months ago and I was like, holy shit, they don't even retire his number. The guy was like the best guy in the league for 4 years. It just kind of comes and goes.
Well, how about your photo?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. Well, tell them, nobody believes me on this. Tell the audience how I was able to just stand under the basket and rebound for the Celtics.
It is unbelievable, but again, it was a different era. It was obviously before 9/11. Security was pretty lax.
Pretty lax? I just walk on the court. Well,
the games didn't sell out either. But unbelievably didn't sell out, even though this team kept winning and winning. And they used to let you, before the games, go down and get the balls when the players were warming up before the game, and then you'd stand next to the Celtic players on the bench. They'd be standing there, and you'd be standing there. And one day, I got a picture in the mail from a photographer who said, "I've entered this picture in a photo contest, and we won the contest, and here's a picture for you and your son." And it also appeared on the back page of the Boston Herald.
No, that was a different photo. There was 2 different photos.
Oh, 2 different photos?
Yeah, one won the photo contest, but the other one was just randomly, I'm standing next to John Havlicek, who's on crutches. Yeah,
crutches.
It was during the Buffalo Celtics series in 75, and I'm just standing next to him. And it was in both papers, and that was like the most excited I'd ever seen you as a kid. You went out and bought like 20 of the papers.
I might have bought it. I still have. You have it too, don't you?
I have it somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. And right, you're standing next to him. He has the crutch. He's not playing, obviously. He's in a sport coat, and it looks like you're his son. And you're just standing there with him.
Well, I used to rebound for them, and this sounds crazy. I swear to God, on my kids' lives, I'm not making this up. I used to stand under the basket and hope that like 2 balls would hit or somebody would shoot an air ball and I could rebound and throw it back. And then I would go and walk over to the Celtics bench and I would talk to Tommy Heinsohn and John Killalay, and then whoever the injured player was, and nobody would do anything. You just kind of walk around the court. And sometimes somebody would be like, "Hey, you got to move," but for the most part, nobody really cared because this was 1975.
I really think they thought you were one of their sons.
Oh, like I was like Hondo's son?
Yeah. I mean, you looked like you belonged. You never thought twice about it. You know?
I really didn't. I acted like I belonged, which is an important lesson for all you 6-year-olds out there. You got to act like you belong out there. I
might have bought 20 copies of that because it was the back page. It was a huge picture. It was you and Hondo, and you're both kind of looking at each other, and
right.
You got the crutch. And
I think I'm chewing my nails, which my mom yelled at me
about. You might have been.
And then his last year in Boston, after everything kind of went south, and they didn't make the playoffs, and it all led to the farewell game. But that whole year, he had the farewell tour, which was the first time I ever really remember that. It was interesting because back then, basketball wasn't on all the time. There was no cable yet.
Right.
So the teams that were in the playoffs were on a lot. So Havlicek was one of the only guys that was just on all the time. It was almost like with the Yankees in the 50s and 60s, where Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, all those guys, they were just on every year. And America felt like they knew them.
Them? Were they on like Channel 56 or one of those?
I thought it was Channel 4.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was one of the local channels. I think they were Channel 4 and the Bruins were 38.
38, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and we would see back then there, George Gervin came once or twice a year and that was it. You never saw him. We never got to see him on TV. David Thompson, all these guys that I loved. I just knew them from the basketball cards and Basketball Digest. And they didn't have a sports center back then. So Havlicek was one of the few guys who cut through that back then because he had actually been on TV because they would actually show the playoffs. So people felt like they knew him. They knew Kareem. They knew Rick Barry. There's a couple guys. And he was, I think, probably the most liked player of the 70s, wouldn't you say? Just in general? Because Kareem was the best player in the 70s, but I think people were pretty split on Kareem.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't exactly a warm guy back then.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And he retired in 78, so he played almost the whole decade. And he segued to a couple of terrible years. The Sidney Wicks, Curtis Rowe.
Oh, you know what? Dr. J was more liked than him. I'll give him the number 2. I think he's the second most liked. But.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's others, I'm sure. I mean, we're missing others, but we got to see Havlicek 41 times a year.
Yeah, but it's weird to say this or even think it, but he was just such an unbelievable specimen. Even when I heard that he wasn't feeling well, you'd just be like, oh man, it's John Havlicek. Well,
don't you think it's like a lot of these athletes, from that era, if you don't see them again, your visual memory of them is as the player they were.
Yeah, true.
And my visual memory of him is similar to yours. The guy never stopped running. He looked like he was in the best shape of any basketball player out there.
Yeah.
He was a great shooter, a defender, a rebounder. He did everything.
Great old school game.
And he was a winner.
Yeah. He was certainly one of the best players I've ever seen.
But you don't think of him getting old.
No.
And he might have come back for some of the retirements. I just can't remember.
Well, there was always, people have written about this a little bit, but when they got Bird, he would still come and he would play with those guys, and he would scrimmage and come to practices and just kind of run around. It was like kind of a running joke. Could they get him to come back? And there was this, I think, one training camp when he was playing with them for a couple of days at least, but it was also the training camp when Cowens was there and Maravich was there, and Cowens and Maravich both retired in the same training camp. But it was the year they won the
81.
The 80-81 team that ended up winning the title. But in the training camp, 3 of the guys that ended up, 2 retired and then 1 was already retired. But it was Maravich, Havlicek, Dave Cowens, but then Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Tiny Archibald. It was like 7 Hall of Famers.
I remember vividly that Maravich was in camp and Cowens was in camp.
Yeah.
And I was hoping they'd both hang in there because it looked like we were going to have a really good team.
Yeah.
I don't remember Havlicek being there, though.
Yeah, I think he scrimmaged with them for 3 years after. But yeah, he was one of the all-time greats. I still think he's, a couple guys have moved into the, I think.
Well, for you and me, he was our first 5-year introduction to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, him and Cowens.
Yep.
Yeah. Well. Oh, well. R.I.P. John Havlicek. We loved you. best of luck to the fam, and that's it. Well, Celtics Bucks. There hasn't been a home game for 2.5 weeks until
The
Game 3.
schedule's out. You must have noticed that.
I know. Game 6 Friday. I'll be there. I'm
Game
sitting
6
with you.
Friday. That worked out well for you.
I'm coming back. We
Good.
got to make it to a Game 6. But if we do,
Well,
I'm coming
that is
back.
true.
I'll be
Okay.
in the house. All right, Dad.
All right.
Go to sleep.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
All right, take care.
All right, bye. All right, we're going to get to Desus and Mero in 1 second. Hey, if you don't know SiriusXM, listen up. They bring you the deepest variety of commercial-free music for every genre and every mood. Hear the biggest names in talk, entertainment, and comedy. Get news from every source. A lot of people think you need a car to enjoy SiriusXM. You actually don't. You can listen outside the car right now. Get your first 3 months of SiriusXM outside the car for just $1. Go to SiriusXM.com/BS to see offer details and to subscribe. Listen on your phone, at home, online, anywhere you are at time of day. Hear your favorite songs, discover new ones. They also have some great stations, including the Yacht Rock station that you know I love. They only have it during the summer in the actual Sirius they have in your car, but it's year round if you listen to it on the app. The other one they have a 2000s alternative music channel that I don't know why they haven't promoted that one to the actual cars, but I highly recommend that channel as well. I can't remember what it's called, but God, it's really good. It's like the Strokes and the Killers, like that whole era of music represented. They have the 1990s. They have the Lithium channel for the 1990s, the grunge, all that stuff on the actual SiriusXM. But for this one, it's just on the app for now. I would promote that. I think it's ready for promotion. Anyway, I've been a longtime consumer. SiriusXM.com/BS. You get your first 3 months outside the car for $1. See offer details. Offer available to new SiriusXM streaming subscribers. SiriusXM, no car required. I highly recommend. All right, we're taping this late Wednesday morning. This is quite a day for me. Desus and Mero here. And right after that, I'm playing in the LPGA Pro-Am at
Nice.
Wilshire.
Really?
Yeah.
You're doing your thing, man. Get him.
It's the Venn diagram of two demos that really overlap in so many different
gonna be
ways.
amazing.
It's perfect synergy.
I haven't seen you guys in a while. I think I've won 2 titles since the last time.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to
Wow.
Bill. Instead of using a calendar, he used championship.
Classy.
Wow.
Very
Stay classy.
classy.
Stay
Two
classy.
more.
Very
I guess
classy.
2 more would
Two
be the
more.
right way to
I
say
mean, if
it.
you count hockey.
No, hockey's, well, we're still going in
We're
hockey.
still
though.
going
Yeah.
in
hockey.
Red
you know.
Sox win.
Yeah.
Pats win.
Yeah.
The Boston
The
teams.
Pats won the most boring Super Bowl ever. I'll give you that.
I thought it was
It was
thrilling.
a defensive. It was a defensive
throwback.
standoff.
It was a throwback to
Smash
the old
mouth
days.
football.
Yeah, old school football.
I want to see end zone dances. That's what I want to see in the NFL. I want to see way more of those.
I love how mad it made people too. That was like the second
Yeah.
best part of them winning. Is like people were just pissed. They're like, the Patriots, now they're ruining the Super Bowl.
But don't forget, you also had like the boycott of the NFL going on. So everyone was like, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I stand with Kaepernick. It was like, nah, I know who's gonna win. So let me.
And
take
also,
a,
everyone watched the Super Bowl.
yeah.
The boycott. So now we're done. The boycott's done.
No, it's not done. It's
Okay.
just, you know what it is? Like, it depends on the person. Because a lot of people who were never watching the NFL are boycotting. And then you have some people who are just like, yo, my team sucks. Like, we were done in week 3, so now I'm joining the boycott.
Listen, I live in Jersey. It's gambling is legal. So,
Right.
I guess I won't watch, but I'll watch the lines.
Van Lathan is. We had him on
Shout out
last
to
week,
Van. That's the homie.
and he actually legitimately is done with the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, he's had it,
Mhm.
and he's stuck
Who's
with
his
it. And
team?
he was like a real team, and he's like a Saints fan, the whole thing, and he's just
Okay.
like, I'm out.
If you actually talk to Kaepernick, like, you feel terrible afterwards. You're like, no. Also, when you talk to other football players and they start talking about CTE, like Arian Foster and things like that, you're just like, I really can't support this. But then, are you ready for some football? Sunday, you got the hot wings and the French fries.
And the draft tonight.
Then the
Yep.
draft, you know what I'm saying?
You know?
Who are the Giants taking with the 6th pick?
So there's a possibility. We'll put this up before the draft.
Can I preface that question with David Gettleman is absolutely out of his mind. He's the James Dolan of football. So continue.
Or that. I mean, think about that for a second. The James Dolan of football.
Football,
What does
wow.
that even mean?
Wow.
You just make horrible decisions.
It's like you just leave train crashes.
Yeah. You
Just
just
cars
make
You
piled
gotta
up
go
on top
easy
of
on that
each other.
James Dolan slander.
Yeah, you know
you
what
ever
I'm
want to
saying?
go back to a Knick game?
You know what I'm
we
saying?
flying high on the radar. Like, 2 more strikes.
I'm on his radar now.
Oh, yeah? But you're not banned from the Garden yet.
Maybe I am. I don't know. I
who
haven't been
knows?
in the Garden since.
I think it's getting to the point James Dolan is getting really fed up and like he doesn't care. And like, because remember that guy that was like, sell the team? He was like, oh yeah, you want to be banned for life? Like James Dolan. I mean, I get it. Like if I owned the Knicks and people were like, sell the team, I'd be like, hey, you know what? You can't watch these games anymore. Go to the Sbarro's across the street.
But luckily for me, I have a very generic name, so like it'll be hard.
No, they use facial recognition technology when you're banned from the Garden.
Shit.
No, they really do.
Facial recognition.
I am dead ass. When you walk in the Garden, look above the metal detectors. There's camp. Like if you were banned from the Garden, you will get to the seat and security will come over and be like, you can't be here.
Wow, that's out of control.
He's like one of those owners in a sports movie where they just go over the top with
Like
how
an
evil
Disney,
the guy is.
Like an evil Disney
Remember,
movie.
did you see Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah.
Like Franklin Langella in that movie. He's got the big
wow.
cowboy hat on. He's just off his rocker.
rocker.
He's
That's
like,
like
I
what
don't
it's
care.
like in real life.
But what happens if KD comes? Like, what happens if the Knicks start winning? Does everyone all of a sudden give the dick flute solo to James Dolan? Does he become Does he become the greatest owner ever?
No.
Knick fans are Knick fans are fickle as hell. Knick fans will do a "Thank you, Dolan" chant by the end of the season. I
mean,
got you. If they
they
get
really
KD,
will.
they will.
They're just beaten down.
They're just beating down. That's all it is.
It's like, do you guys watch Game of Thrones?
I watched one episode for the first time like a week ago. I have no idea the characters' names.
I haven't watched any of this season because I always wait until like there's 4 episodes loaded up.
So you know
and
the
then
show.
I binge them. Yeah, I've watched every
The
season.
Knicks fans are Theon. Like they've just had
Who is
all
that?
of their
That's
genitals cut off, and they've been tortured for years, and they're just so beaten down, and they just don't know what to do
Then
anymore.
they're like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, should I kill myself? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
just-
Like,
Yeah, being a Knicks fan is like you just like we go to Knicks games, we have no desire. Like we know we're probably not going to win, so it's just like, yo, let's just get some drinks. Like I've gone to Knicks games with my friends and like left after the first inning.
Well, there's
not first inning, first quarter, and gone to like Foley's on 33rd Street and like
probably
let's
more
watch something
fun.
else.
Well, there's a Knicks KD scenario that nobody has really talked about that I actually think is a legit scenario.
What is it?
He comes to New York, but not to play for the Knicks.
to the Nets? Are you kidding me?
Wow,
Did you watch the Sixers Nets series?
It can't be ruled out.
that's true.
It puts him in New York. It puts him in Brooklyn. It gives him ownership over this New York-based franchise that has had no real identity.
Right.
And they have good young players and a good organization, and they kind of know what they're doing. And it's like,
But New York is never going to embrace the New Jersey Nets.
I would technically agree with that.
Yes,
But if
no.
KD is there and the Knicks
And
end
they're
up with
really
like
good.
Cam Reddish in the 4th pick and no free agents.
Remember in that stretch in the early aughts where the Nets were actually good and they were making finals or whatever? Nobody gave a shit. Nobody in New York was like,
Last
yeah,
second.
go
well, shout out
Nets.
from
Well, but they were playing in East Rutherford at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah, but
But
it's
see,
still
that's
like,
kind of
you
the thing.
know,
Like Barclays Center and Madison Square Garden do not compare at all. And Barclays Center, in theory, is a better building, but MSG just has like this like
the
aura.
history and the
You
whatever.
went there for the NXT last month. The NXT, whatever takeover. It was electric.
Listen,
Ricochet's last match.
Oh
I was
my
there with my
God.
son. Oh my God. You could
all I
feel
can
the
say is,
intensity.
where do they have the Westminster Dog Show? We're done here.
That's
okay?
true. Yeah, that's true. It's way more vaunted than I think. There's
Couldn't you
another
see that?
garden. Like there's a fake garden. Like it's named after a bank somewhere. And
Is this a Boston insult?
I
It feels
think.
like a slight
Wow,
Boston
wow,
insult.
that was
Can you imagine if KD went to the Nets, though, how mad the Knicks fans would be?
livid. We would burn that
That would be
stadium
the
down.
Yeah, of course.
how dare you move that's
and
ever
you know what?
happened.
KD goes to the Nets. I personally am taking an axe and chopping the Brooklyn Bridge down. You guys are going to be disconnected from
That's
the other
it.
5 boroughs.
Well, that's happening anyway when the L train gets shut down.
No,
Well, remember
they will be disconnected.
They rejiggered it now. Before they were supposed to shut it down for a long time. Now they're just going to shut it down for a little bit of
Just
time.
a
They was like,
little bit.
yeah. They were like, yeah, we'll fix everything.
Yeah,
We'll fix everything.
stretch.
Yeah, we're gonna just semi shut it down, so it's only like you only have like a 75% chance of dying. You know what I
that'd
mean?
be good.
While we work on it, you know what I mean,
One
and
in
have
four,
human
one in
beings on
four are
tracks.
good odds to
Yeah,
live.
you know what I'm saying? It's not bad.
Jesus.
If you're in baseball, you'd be doing all right.
So you would be, if Durant goes to the Nets,
Yeah.
what's your move on Thursday's show on Showtime with that? Anger, betrayal,
Not betray- you know
not
what? It's,
betrayal,
we've been
or
through this.
standoffish? Like we didn't want him anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
real
what-
cocky like that. It's like,
like with LeBron.
we lived
When
through this with LeBron.
When LeBron spurned us, we were like, nah, who cares?
yeah, Nick's Twitter was lying. It was
Which
like, yo,
time, which time when he spurned you?
wow,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
a couple,
10,
a couple-
14.
All right. Yeah. When he-
18. What year are we talking about?
I remember there was that tweet.
Junior high prom and then high school prom when he deaded us.
I remember there was a tweet and somebody was like, yo, I just saw Amari Stoudemire and LeBron having dinner downtown. Like,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, let's go.
Yeah,
But then No. And I remember the first game LeBron did when he came back, and the crowd was like heckling him and booing him. And I was like, 2 weeks ago we were buying LeBron jerseys. We were turning like our David Lee jerseys into LeBron jerseys. But you know,
LeBron had dinner with Amari, and he's like, "How's your knees?" And Amari's like,
bad,
"I got
man.
like 50 games
He's
left
like,
in
"What
me."
knees?"
Amari was like, "Oh, you see this?"
Half of a ligament left.
He was like, "How's your knees?" And he was like, "Oh, taste that calamari." Same thing.
He pulled out a pouch. He's like, "Here are my knees. I don't know. You want to check them out?"
It's a pouch of ligaments.
Yeah, I don't know.
think?
Some of these are Kobe's. I don't know. It's just like a mixed bag. It's a ligament lost and found.
I'm like, is this fruit by the foot? Like, oh my
Wait,
god.
we didn't finish the Giants NFL draft thing.
Oh yeah.
So that's tonight. We're taping this Wednesday, but they have the 6th pick, and everybody's really worried that this guy who traded Odell that nobody trusts, that he's going to take the Duke quarterback who
He absolutely is.
Our draft expert did not have him in his top 100, and we made him put him 100th just so we could have the profile of this guy because we knew he was going to the top 3 rounds. But he's like, this guy's a disaster. He should not be in the first round.
I think,
and that could be the Giants' pick. Daniel Jones.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to pick a pass rusher guy with the 6th pick. And then they're gonna pick the Duke guy. That's what you're talking about, right? Was his name Daniel Jones? They're gonna pick Daniel Jones with the fucking 17th pick, and I'm going to be livid. And I'm gonna do one of those stupid viral videos.
Pick?
Oh my! I would literally, you know those stupid videos where people like kick their TV over after like a bad play. Like I would do that in real life.
See, that's why you got a boycott.
You know what I'm saying?
That's really been the Jets fans the best thing they've had going since the name of Super Bowl is the draft reaction videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've taken those to 7 other levels.
Jet
really
fans.
Great. I don't know how they do it.
I mean, as long as we're like on par with the Jets, I'll be okay.
Well, Jet
how
fans were
sad
talking
is
kind of spicy last time.
That's wild to say.
Because, there's the Giants, Knicks, Yankees fan. We've talked about this.
Talked
and then
about
there's
that.
the Jets,
Nets,
Nets.
Islanders.
But now it's like a little more even than I think.
Sad
It's been a while, right?
Sad to admit, and that's how we know we're getting older and we've
Jets
lived in
have
New
a
York
real
so
franchise
longer.
quarterback. Nets just made the playoffs.
Yep.
The Mets.
Yeah.
But it's not great.
The Mets have 5
Not
aces
great.
because the season just started.
Yeah.
You know.
They had the home run hitter, though, people like. Judge got hurt again.
Like 90% of the Yankees are
Just
hurt.
stop taking steroids. That's what I keep telling him. I just keep telling him.
Thank Bill for having us on. Thank you. Be sure to check out Desus and Mero on Showtime.
Your muscles can't
11 p.m.
handle it.
Thursday.
Well, you know what?
I'm kidding.
It hurts my heart.
Take
It hurts
steroids. I'm
my
kidding.
heart to say this, but I can say the same for Big Papi.
Well, that was,
that?
you know what?
But
I
that's
can say
even
the
worse.
same for Manny.
That's way
How about
worse than
that?
what I just did. Because that's your guy.
No,
As a
that's what I
Dominican
said.
hero.
It hurts my heart to say it. You know
That's
what I'm
a Dominican
saying?
hero.
But
You
hey,
just
you know what I'm saying?
blasphemed.
Also, Big Pop, you know what? Like, we referenced Big Pop. That was kind of a long time ago now. That's kind of becoming a
As
dated
far as
sports
I'm
reference.
concerned, no proof. Just ended up on one list.
No,
I'm not
like,
sold.
look at his rookie picture, his rookie trading card, and then look at his last year.
People fill
His
out.
head- no, how do you fill out?
Keanu Reeves is bigger.
He filled out with just his head filled out. I've never seen anything like that. He looks like the Airheads commercial where the kids are floating around.
Yeah, but it's good though because like I can forget about those old guys because they got the new guys coming up. They got Tatis Jr., Vlad Jr., all that crap.
You see
of
Vlad
like,
Jr.? He put on like
Jr.'s
40 pounds.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He's
So-
like huge now.
yeah, and he could hit anything.
So much like his father.
In all seriousness, with the Judge thing, he is a big dude, and it's almost like he's almost like a skyscraper where just a lot of things could go wrong.
Yeah.
He pulled an oblique. I didn't really totally know what an oblique muscle is, and I was like looking it up.
He's
and
pulling
it's like,
muscles like I
there's
don't even
6
think we
different
have.
oblique muscles. He
Yeah,
pulled the
because he's
outer
too
one.
muscular. He's
Yeah.
like fucking. He's super
He's
ripped.
just like one of the biggest guys.
Yeah.
It's almost like how Zion is just,
Yeah, just
he's so
massive.
big. The only
Yeah.
reason not to take him would be like, is that guy's body going to hold up for 15
When
years?
we played in CC Sabatia's celebrity softball game,
Name
Aaron
drop.
Judge. We're playing in it
As a
again
name
in a couple
drop.
weeks.
Yeah, so
But
don't
Aaron
worry.
Judge was there, and it's just like to see him in person.
Yeah.
He's huge, but then you're just like, it's kind of that weird thing. Like he's used to being that big, but I'm like, if I was that big, I'd be so awkward. Like every step would just be a passable fracture of my
6'7"
foot.
and
Yeah.
massive. Yeah, the Gronkowski's like that too. It's funny,
Yeah.
like the stages of how like Steph Curry's
A regular size
6'3".
dude.
No,
Yeah.
he's 6'3". Like if he walked in, you'd be like, oh,
Oh,
Steph
wow.
Curry's tall.
You're taller than I thought.
You know,
But it's not like what the.
but on the
you know
court,
what I
he
mean?
doesn't seem tall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, because everybody else is 7'12".
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Dame Lillard, if he walked in, he wouldn't seem short.
Yeah.
How tall is
The
he?
NBA seems short. He's like 6 feet.
Yeah,
6'1".
That's what I'm saying. Same thing. Like, shout out to the homie Iman Shumpert. Like, same thing. Like, he walks in and it's like, oh, you're 6'6". You know what I mean? Like, you look smaller on TV because you're running around with a bunch of dudes who are 7
Durant's a good one for this. Durant is like a legit 7 feet.
Yeah.
And you just don't.
You can tell.
Even think about it until he's like ducking under doorways and stuff. You're like, oh shit.
When he sits in a chair, he's like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like his elbows are like in his knees and shit.
KD, come to New York, we'll fix your posture.
You know what I'm saying?
Come to the Knicks.
I got an old back brace from when I was young and shit. Like, I got you, bro.
We're taping this the day after an incredible Lillard performance last night.
Yes.
Incredible.
All of this, the entire Lillard-Westbrook series was about as in your wheelhouse as it really combined a lot of things that you guys love.
Westbrook plays with such pure anger. That's why I love him so much, because it's like, he's just like, the moment he gets on the court, he's like scowling.
He plays basketball like he hates basketball.
Yeah.
Like he was like some alien gave him the ability to play basketball. And it's
he's
a curse.
This is my curse.
Like he has to do it for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and I have to be the best, and I have to average a triple-double at all times.
It is funny, like we revered John McEnroe, how he used to go at the tennis umps and stuff and just had the anger that he played with. It's like, oh man, he's torture genius. And then with Westbrook, people are like, fuck that guy.
He's a diva.
Why is he pushing that kid?
This would be what John McEnroe did if John McEnroe was a basketball player. He would have been stalking around.
That's why he goes to basketball games. I think he tries to give that energy to basketball players. Like,
so you're pro Russ, because Russ is taking a beating.
Yeah, I'm super pro Russ
all month.
Because I'm like, he doesn't, like, I respect any NBA player who's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm gonna speak my mind, and if you say some crazy shit from the stands, like, bro, just like if the plumber comes to your house, you're not gonna call the plumber a racial slur. You know what I mean? Because he
someone watched Green Book yesterday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, bro, like if you're an athlete, if you're a professional athlete, that doesn't give like the fans the right to just say whatever the fuck they want to you. You know what I mean? I mean, like, they can, but there can be consequences. I don't think there should be like, there's like this weird, like, like you have to respect the game and blah, blah, blah. But if you say some wild shit to me in the midst of a game, you know what I mean? In the midst of my job, not a game, it's my job. Like, I feel like I should have the right to say some shit back to you.
Well,
like,
the onus is really on the NBA attendance and like they got to call that out, because I know we've gone to Knick games, and if you're rowdy at a Knick game or you cause a scene, the next time you come back, there's a card in your seat that says, "Listen, you are like on a strike, settle down. Like you will be ejected, and whoever season tickets are, they're losing them." Like something like there has to be some sort of onus, a penalty to make sure these fans don't get rowdy. But then you have these fans paying exorbitant amount of money for their seats, and they're like, "I'm gonna do what I want because I paid for this." And I think that's the problem, because they feel they're on the same level as the athletes because they're paying expensive. It's usually it's not the fans up in like the 300s wilding out. It's the fans in row 2, row 4, the floor seats. And there has to be some sort of vetting process. Like, you can't have people doing racial slurs from the front row. And that's what Russell...
They should just check your Twitter at the door.
There you go. Check your IG.
If your last 3 tweets were like, "Yo, MAGA," you got to... Like,
they just pull up one tweet like, "Yo,
okay, all right,
what is this guy?
Why did she wear a thing on her face all the time? Get her out of here." You know what I mean? It's like, no. Sorry, Joe from Staten Island. You can't come to this game.
You know,
the Rangers play next week.
They're always talking... A friend of mine has this company that's doing facial recognition for tickets and stuff called Rival. And it would be funny if they incorporated the social media.
Social media
package.
Wow.
Like, what was that Minority Report? Shane Beezer or whatever his name was, the Utah fan. It's like, MAGA guy, watch out, row 2.
Out of here.
MAGA guy, row 2.
That's what I thought when I was watching the Utah series, because I was just like, man. I was like, first of all, Donovan Mitchell is special. You know what I mean? But second of all, like that game where Harden went like 0 for 16 to start the game.
Yeah, that was a weird game.
That was so weird.
I like that he also then made the biggest shot of the game. I like those guys.
Exactly.
That was like a Kobe move where he's just being terrible.
I'm going to shoot 2% until the last second. Yeah. And then, but then it's like, he got into it with the Ingles guy. And I'm like, ooh, you're in Utah. You're fighting the white guy on the team. Ooh.
The fans are like, "Hey, man, come on."
Hey.
You always have to fight, and the fans have to pick one side. It's
I was like, dude, you're getting carpet M-bombed right now, bro. Like, it's serious.
Well, it was interesting after the Westbrook thing when the Utah players had the meeting, and like 4 of the guys on the team were like, kind of when, what was it, Ekpe Udoh had some quotes about it, and they were way more anti the fans' behavior than I was prepared for.
Yeah.
Because usually if it's your team's fans, you just kind of either don't say anything or, well, you know, those fans don't represent everybody. But these guys were like,
they know the deal.
This is a change.
They know the deal.
That was weird.
Because I mean, like you can imagine it goes the other way too. Like if
you're missing shots,
if you're missing shots, if you're blowing plays, if you're missing layups, then you're probably getting the same
equal opportunity N-words.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's funny though that we care about how players are treated by the fans, and yet we don't care at all about the social media component of that. It's like, well, it's social media.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's like, I feel
shouldn't
like
we care about both?
We should, but then it's just like social media. The thing is like that Tyler, the Creator tweet that he says cyberbullying isn't real. You could just log off. A lot of these people, sometimes, you're not on Twitter like that, or you talk to these people, they're like, I'm not on social media every day. I don't see every tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between someone tweeting some wild thing at you and someone actually saying it to your face.
Yeah. I've always said, like, if you say something in text, it takes a lot more balls to say it in person than to say it via text.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree
so, like,
with
a
that.
lot of these dudes probably just are saying this shit on Twitter, and they would never in a million years, even if they're in the 300s, say that shit out loud to Westbrook or to anybody.
There was like a troll earlier this week that was trolling someone about having dead kids or something, some player.
Oh, a reporter.
Yeah, a reporter. And I was just like, you look and you're like, this person would never, 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 never in a million years say this to this person's face. But you have that anonymity, and it's like there's that distance. They're just swallowing.
I think the problem,
It's like in Sonic the Hedgehog when you get the force field.
Yeah, I expect the worst with social media.
Yeah.
But I wonder if some of that carries over to the actual stands where people are in the mode of.
I've seen that because
and then it's like there's almost like no way to discern the difference between the two
You have
worlds.
people who say wild things on Twitter and they get a response, and then you go to a game and like, because my boy was doing this, and I was like, you have to chill. And he was basically saying he was yelling like he was tweeting. And he wasn't yelling to get a response from the players. He was doing that absolute worst thing where you're kind of drunk and you just want laughs from the people sitting around you, and it's like disruptive to the game. You're not that funny.
Low batting average.
It's like low hanging fruit. Get out of here.
It is though. It's totally changed at basketball games. People are much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
People are much more respectful, and the players can't fucking hear you because they're playing music all the time.
Yeah. I think that was a great idea by whoever decided to do that.
It just drowns out everything.
Yeah.
I remember going to all the Patino games with the Celtics in the late 90s when we just sucked.
Yeah.
And it was just people just kind of mad, and it was silent, and there would just be like,
You just hear the ball dribbling.
Oh my, and there'd be a free throw, no noise. And so it'd be like, hey, Antoine, you suck!
Yeah.
They're just like echo through the
Everyone has their
stadium.
suits and their ties undone because they just gotta work.
Yeah, and there's no way Antoine didn't hear that.
Right.
And now they can drown out pretty
Everything.
much.
Yeah.
Everything.
But those, as you said, the front couple rows, that's where you might have.
Man, I remember going to, like, not even, it's sports wide, I think. Like, because I remember going to a baseball game way back in the day, and it was like, I forgot, there was some Atlanta Braves outfielder who had just gotten a DUI, like the week before. Then they come in to play the Yankees, and the entire bleacher section is like, DUI!
Oh, man.
DUI!
Well, I mean,
DUI!
was that the
to
old
guy,
Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yankee Stadium as well. Remember Jose Canseco? He was dating Madonna, and they threw the blow-up door on the field at him.
Yeah, that was wild. That was like the Bills Mafia. Like, we started the Bills
Used to
Mafia.
be able to bring batteries into, like...
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium was something in the
It
90s.
was. But you have to
I went
remember the
to more than a
neighborhood
few
around
games
it
there.
at that time was wild.
If
You
you
talk
went in
upper
there,
deck?
yeah, man. If you went in there with an opposing team's like hoodie, that shit would be full of peanut shells by the end of the third inning.
I think I told you guys this, how I went with the Bruins jersey, the Red Sox shorts, and the Celtics hat or
Why?
something. I was just like, fuck
You
these
have a
guys.
death wish?
I'm representing. Yeah. And people were just throwing shit the whole game. We thought it was hilarious, though. We had a good sense of humor about it. But at the same time, I look back, I'm like, that was insane. Because especially the upper deck was just a straight
angle,
fall.
right?
Yeah.
So
If you get
just somebody
vertigo,
shoving
you
or
fall
tripping
all the
you.
way
Yeah,
down.
you're going down.
Oh my God. I remember a lady came in, she had like a leather jacket. It was like what you do about all the Boston championships.
Yeah.
And the whole time just peanuts at her. And she's in good spirits. And then someone just takes the actual full bag of peanuts and just hits her in the back of the head. And security had to come and escort her out. And they're just heckling her out.
Well, you feel that. I remember in the 84 finals, Celtics-Lakers, and it was all Celtics fans, but then Jack was there, and Jack thought it was Jack Nicholson, he thought it was a good idea to like hang over the balcony and do the choke sign and stuff. It didn't go very well, and like after that, he was just protected. Because I actually think like people are like, fuck that guy. We don't care who Jack Nicholson is. He has to die. We're killing him.
I totally see that.
But now you see these games where, because the secondary market there's fans from the other team all over the place, especially like at Knicks games. Like if the Knicks get good again, you'll see it. It's not gonna be all Knicks fans. There's gonna be fans of like whoever they're playing.
Well, Knicks games already are weird because like you'll go on like StubHub or something, and it's just like the Knicks are playing some terrible team on a Tuesday night, and the price of the tickets, you're like, who is going to this? And then you go there, and it's like tourists, it's people from other teams, and that's I think the problem with tanking in New York, quote unquote. The game, people are always going to go to the games, whether they're Knicks fans or not, because it's not so much I want to see basketball. It's like, hey, we're on 34th Street. Like, let's do. It's like going to a Broadway play.
Well, MSG is like Fenway Park or Wrigley or a couple of the other places where it's kind of. It is the best place to see a basketball game. Yeah, even I would admit that.
You got to do it at least once in your life.
That's what all the players say. Like every superstar that's ever come to the NBA has been like, man, to perform well in front of the in the mecca of basketball, you know, da 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 da.
Also, it's very ironic that MSG is the mecca of basketball, but like all Rangers fans are MAGA. So
yeah, it's pretty funny.
I can say that I'll be at Rangers games. You got a problem? Come see me. I'm the guy that looks like JB Smooth.
Well, it is like how an actor always feels like they have to be in a Broadway play to kind of test their chops. Like when Zion's in the league next year, the MSG game will be the most important road game he has. No matter what team he's on. It's like, I mean, he'll be coming to New York City tonight. This is a thing.
He'll be on the Knicks.
So you have like a 14% chance. Somehow they changed the lottery odds during the 1 year they needed the Knicks.
Wow, thank you for pointing it out.
You lost 11%.
Yeah. I mean, but listen, the Kyrie won't be with the Celtics next year, so you know we'll both be sad in a way if we don't get the first pick. But Kyrie is definitely out of there.
It's a very complicated relationship with him and the Boston fans right now because there's a lot of love for him right now.
As a Celtics fan, who do you want? Do you want the young guys to get minutes and come up like a la Philly? Or do you want a guy like Kyrie to stay and potentially disrupt that whole dynamic with like Tatum and Brown and whatever? But like that could resurface.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like people to people, that could always resurface. Like if Tatum has a stretch of games where he's like blowing it for 10 games in a row, you think Kyrie's not going to get on his ass? Like I saw an interview where it was Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson have a podcast interview thing, and they interviewed Kyrie and Tatum at the same time.
Well, those guys are buddies, though. They're Duke. There's some sort of Duke thing, even though Kyrie was there for 10 games and Tatum was there for a year.
Kyrie did a tour.
Duke, man, we both, all the travails we went through at Duke.
All the 48 minutes we played together.
He played like 100 minutes at Duke. It's weird. He's been on his best behavior. Really since the All-Star break when it was the end of February when everybody was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Why does he keep giving his soliloquies about leadership? Why is he calling LeBron James? Like, really seemed like he was like sabotaging the team in a lot of ways.
Is that verified though? Like, does he, I read this stuff and I'm like, how much of this is true and how much of this is bullshit?
It was all 100% true. The worst thing you could be in the NBA is condescending. Because all of these guys think they're hot shit. Oh, yeah. No matter who they are, they have their 5 people in their life. So you take like Jason Tatum, who's making $7 million a year. He dunked on LeBron in the conference finals. Now it's the All-Star break. He's got his shoes that have no shoelaces. He's got people like, yeah, man, you're going to be the guy.
Good man.
And then Kyrie is like, these young guys don't know what it takes. And, you know how it goes.
But you saw what happened when they faced LeBron. Like towards the end of the game, you could tell like, yo, everybody in this team is fucking 16 years old because they were all playing hero ball.
Because they were.
Yeah, they were like, yo, I'm going to pull up I'm from 40 and chuck this three. There's 23 seconds left on the shot clock. What kind of shot selection is that? You know what I mean? Like how much of that is them and how much of that is the coach being like, yo, my man, like I'm the coach. Like I set a play.
Right.
If there's a busted play, kick it out to the vet. You know what I mean? Kick it back out to Kyrie, let him set up. Or let him do his thing. Because Kyrie could dribble through anything.
Well, he is kind of like a genius, which I think it's hard for people.
He has a very high basketball IQ.
Yeah.
He's a high basketball IQ, and he's also just like incredibly talented. Like, I've never watched a player day in, day out who makes the shots that he makes.
Yeah, and he just like dances through defensive.
He's perfectly coordinated on left and right side, but he was condescending. He fell on the sword. He admitted he was a dick to the guys. And it's been better since, but it's like if you went to Showtime,
right?
Who's the biggest star at Showtime? Like the guy from Billions.
Yeah. Mr. Billions.
And if you met that guy and he was just like a fucking dick to you, like, well, you know, we'll see how it goes. But when you get to the level, you know, we've been in Billions, we've been nominated for Emmys and stuff, and we know how it's done here at Showtime. And you'd be like, What are you talking about?
Like,
No, that
Why are you telling me this?
That actually
on the
wouldn't
same
bother me
team?
because I he'd do that whole speech and I'd be like, oh, what's that? Who was that? I was like, was that Ray Donovan?
Ray Donovan. Better Ray Donovan gave the speech.
Ray Donovan just like with blood coming out of his nose.
I think that was Liam Neeson.
I was like, yo, are we in the
is that his
Shy?
name?
What's going on?
What is
The
this?
Shy.
What's going on?
That'd be a good crossover episode for
We've been working on. We
The
want.
Shy.
Desus and Mero in the Shy?
No, just like, yeah,
we're just gonna
somebody-
start walking into Showtime shows, just ruin the plot, just like
straight up.
just having like a wild dramatic moment on Billions. We
Yeah.
just come through like, they're like
Yeah. We're gonna be
mad
in
people
the-
Who are
cares.
these guys?
We're gonna be in the season finale of Smilf.
But can we talk about how?
So you guys think you're getting Kyrie?
I mean, either or. This is my free agent wish list.
Okay.
KD's at the top of the wish list.
I would
Okay.
hope so. He's one of the best 15 players ever.
And at guard, I would take either Kyrie or Kemba. Kemba because he's a Bronx guy, he's a hometown guy, and he can fucking hoop. You know what I mean?
Is
And I-
Kemba, like when you say he's a Bronx guy, because some people will do this liberally with Brooklyn and the Bronx specifically, where it's like he's from Brooklyn, and then you find out like he lived there for 2 years and left.
No, he was.
No, he's
Is he
pure
like
the
a
Bronx.
legitimate, pure,
legitimate, pure
went to high school
Soundview
at the Bronx?
projects. He went to high
My
school
mother,
at Rice.
my
which was
mother used to
Harlem.
work at
Oh, he
the.
went to.
He went to high school in Rice, which is
Yeah.
Harlem, but it was because his friend who he lived with in Soundview houses was going to Rice. So he
So
was
that
like,
makes
it was
more
either
sense.
that or
My
I was
mother
gonna
was
go to
the head
St.
librarian
Raymond's.
at Soundview Library, and like she knew Kemba Walker because as soon as he got the NBA contract, he moved, which is brilliant. That's you got to do that in the
So
Bronx.
you
but-
guys, how do you handle the Dennis Smith Jr. part of this thing? Because you
I
know,
like him. I love
no,
him.
I know, but you get Kemba, you're like, okay, Dennis, thanks.
No,
Yeah,
like,
thanks.
look, I'm running lineups where it's just like, all right, who's the pass first guy?
7 guards
You, like
and KD.
that's what the NBA is now. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like small guys that can shoot. Like if you got 5 guys on the floor and 2 of them can't shoot, you're fucked. You know
It's
what I'm saying?
true. Yeah,
That's
so the
why.
NBA.
That's why I think the Bucks are going to destroy the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm leaning that way as well.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think that they're going to make it to the finals. You know what I mean? And I think they could really give Golden State trouble.
I have Rockets Bucks, and I had that before the playoffs, and I still have it.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a Rocketsy kind of year.
yeah. They might turn it on against the Warriors.
So the Kemba thing, if he's actually real New York, he gets it then.
Yeah.
So that if I were
when we were at the NBA awards like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
he got like the award for like citizenship award or something like that, like good. I'm a good guy award.
Yeah.
Like I helped the community award.
that's what they call it. The I'm a good guy.
Yeah,
award.
yeah, I'm a good guy. He won the I'm a good guy. So he goes up to make his acceptance speech or whatever, and I was just like super drunk, and I was just like, BX all day, and you could like actually hear it on the telecast, and he turns around, and he's like, yes sir,
But
like
wouldn't you
he's
have to
really
take-
from the Bronx.
But to come to the Bronx, we didn't have to take a pay cut.
To come to the Knicks? No, the Knicks got 2 supermax slots.
Well,
open.
Charlotte can give him more,
More,
especially
yeah.
if he makes like third team All NBA this year.
Yeah.
It could add to it, but it's really an extra year.
He's really
you
Barry
actually-
Sandersing it if he stays in Charlotte, though. Let's keep it real.
Oh, I think
Like-
if he's one of the few NBA players that if he actually walked into a restaurant, I'm not sure a lot of people would know who he was.
Right.
Like
He's
Dame,
good.
Kemba Walker.
Dame Lillard, I think people would be like, oh, that's Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
I'm not positive people
Fam,
would
I-
recognize Kemba
We know
like
Kemba
that.
Walker. If Kemba Walker walked in here
I'm not
and
saying you
whispered,
guys would.
and whispered to him like, take out this cable and walked out, we wouldn't be like, that was Kemba Walker. Like,
I'd be like, that guy looked
like-
like somebody.
I was like,
was that guy in the All-Star
your
game?
intern looks familiar. Like,
Yeah, he looks like
but no, you have the all the time, like not even a name dropping. Chris Paul is staying at our hotel, and so I'm walking through the lobby. He's like, "Yo, I love your show. Oh my god!" And I was like, that he looks like Chris Paul, but because he's like, I'm like, all I've ever seen this guy is like in a jersey and he's like in a suit and everything, and like,
Well, he's a little shorter than you'd think too. He's
Also-
like 5'10".
so,
Yeah.
but
It
5'10",
ended, up being,
5'11".
it ended up being Cliff Paul, but same thing.
Wow.
Same thing.
But no, because then I was like, oh wow, this is LA. Like, you see someone, you're like, there's a possibility they're a basketball player, or a rapper, or just,
That's why you guys need to
somebody.
move here.
Yeah, I'm
mean,
thinking
We
about
need
it.
you.
Thinking about
You thinking about it? You do like split screen?
Yeah,
Like
Tommy's,
Wilbon and Kornheiser?
Tommy's. Oh yeah, we're just gonna Skype in. Yeah, someone at Showtime is like, the hell you are.
Let's take a break to talk about State Farm. Players and fans prepare all year for the playoffs. They need to be ready for anything. With a State Farm agent on your team, you can be ready for anything too. They can help you prepare for whatever life throws your way. Who's the most prepared player in the playoffs right now? Gotta give it to Dame Lillard. He assassinated the Thunder. It may have put a dagger in the whole Westbrook, Georgia. I don't know, 3 first-round playoff exits in a row, but they talked trash to him after Game 3. He stayed focused. He quoted The Art of War on his Instagram after he knocked him out. Unbelievable performance. Damian Lillard, winner of round one. We're going to talk about him with Ryan Russell on Sunday Night's podcast. We'll do a whole Dame section. Talk to a State Farm agent today about combining your home and auto insurance. Get a teammate who can help you prepare for the unexpected. A teammate as good as Dame Lillard. State Farm, here to help life go right. Also, since we're here, let's talk about Luminary, revolutionizing the way we listen to podcasts. It's an amazing free app that launched this week, actually. Features like a simple user interface, personalized content recommendations. The Luminary app is a better way to listen to the shows you already know and love. You can get the majority of the biggest podcasts on there right now. And they also have a groundbreaking new service, Luminary Premium. Caters to podcast fans by delivering an incredible network of 40 ad-free podcasts available only on Luminary. However you choose to Luminary, you'll appreciate what they're doing for podcasting. We have a podcast right now on Luminary. It is a little spin-off series from The Rewatchables called The Rewatchables 1999. The first one we did was American Pie. The next one we're doing next week is Cruel Intentions. And we're going to do, I think, a season of 10 and then take a little break because we have something else special coming on Luminary. But you can check all those out. We've not stopped doing the rewatchables either because we got Mean Girls coming next week. But if you sign up for Luminary Premium with luminary.link/Bill Simmons, you'll save $1 off your subscription every month for the rest of your first year. You'll be entered for a chance to win an exclusive experience with one of their creators, like 2 tickets to see Trevor Noah perform stand-up, followed by a meet and greet with the man himself. Once again, luminary.link/Bill Simmons. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 years or older and a resident of the continental U.S. Void where prohibited. See official rules and details at luminary.link. Back to the Bodega Boys. What NBA players recognizing you guys, the show, the whole thing? Is that happening a lot? You feel like you're in the mix with that?
What happens is if someone did the show, they tell everyone in the locker room, and then they tell everyone else. And like all those NBA players, they rock with, like they've been rocking with us since like the podcast,
right?
So they love the Vice show and they love the Showtime show, and like they like when you meet them, it's very sincere. It's not like, yo, I know about you. They're like, yo, I love every show. Yeah. This was my favorite episode.
Oh, that's good.
And you're like, wow.
You know, not to name drop again, but like literally, like after a show, like Cece will be like, yo, I didn't really like that interview, but this thing was really hilarious. Da-da-da-da.
Or so like you'll have an athlete and they're like, yo, we watch it every night. And the wife is like, yeah, sadly. And you're like, no, you know, like, well, I'm going to go with the breadwinner here. But
it's only a half hour. It's not like she's sitting through 60 Game of Thrones episodes.
You know what I mean?
If you're really into it and like you're like, yo, these guys are funny. And you're just like, they're just like, I get they're too loud. They talk too fast. They curse too much. You know.
Who's been the best NBA player you've had?
Best NBA player.
Or just like the best performance from a guest.
And his cancer, because he came on after he got into the trouble with the Turkish government. And he came right off the plane to do the interview. Yeah. Even though he made that comment today thanking the Knicks for waving him. I love
that guy.
He's great.
Yeah. He's just happy wherever he goes. It's funny.
He saw us at the NBA Awards. He was at the NBA Awards. And he's like, my guys. And I'm like, yo, this 7-foot Turkish guy loves us. This is great.
He was available because it was clear the Knicks were going to buy him out. Mm-hmm. I wanted the Celtics to get him because it's not like we're like totally set with post-up guys. And
you can't just have Al Horford. I know Dominicans are very powerful, you know what I'm saying, and tenacious and good teammates and good at everything that they do. You know what I mean? But like you need, backup.
Another guy. Yeah. And he's a good teammate and all that stuff. He ended up on Portland. Now he's like playing crunch time and
it's amazing.
Yep.
You know.
Because who did they have like before him? Like before they picked him up, who was their
Well, Nurkic got hurt, so he's kind of saved the day for them. Yeah. You on the Showtime show, you've had some powerful guests. It's almost like you have somebody good booking the show.
Best booker in Hollywood. You know what it is. Tommy God.
You know what I'm saying?
You had AOC though.
Yeah. That was actually a lot easier to get.
You guys are getting in with her earlier before she becomes president in like 11.
Oh
12
yeah,
years.
We're gonna be in that cabinet.
She's definitely gonna be the president.
I'm gonna be director of vibes.
Yo,
12 years.
Yeah,
you got to take a cabinet position.
Secretary of Defense right here.
Secretary.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, just what do you guys want to do? You want to blow up the ocean? Let's do it. Fuck it. Who cares?
We ain't doing it in the plastic. What do we do? How is that? What kind of charisma does she have? I've never
cool.
done anything
She's
with her.
super
She's super cool. So then when you know the thing is, it's like she's actually a Bronx person. Like we know, like we've hung with her in the Bronx. We know her, and there's a difference when she talks to us than when she's on TV. And like we know the real, like you have to code switch, and that's why it's kind of funny watching people attack her for stuff that they're like, you didn't really grow up in the Bronx. And it's like, no, she really did. Like, we're talking.
You could tell by
she's
like
naming
her
spots in the
cadence
projects
and like her diction and stuff.
And she named that spot by Parkchester, like stuff you would only know if you lived there.
She's bartending like 18 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what people are expecting her.
No,
she just started this part of her life in a really significant way.
And you would think the way she gets media coverage, she was the most important politician ever. Like anytime there's always like, what does AOC think? And she's like, fam, I'm just trying to run this little area over here.
It's funny though, when you get in the headlines like that, it just like that even happened to Jamel at ESPN. Once the Trump thing started, you would thought Jamel was like by far the biggest person at ESPN. But she was getting headlines every time.
Yeah. When they tweeted out that AOC was going to be on our show, we got attacked on Twitter by so many Russian bots. It was actually amazing because it was just like, just like, go back to bartending and terrible memes. And you're looking, and you're like, this is not an organic human tweet. And you go back and you look on the tweet, and it's just like it's an account that just started.
It's like Tom 189678967898948.
All the tweets are responses to like within 12 seconds to anything AOC has tweeted. Yeah, it's just nonsense. Just
they're
random
tweeting at you guys like the Yankees stink very badly.
Yes. They're like, Nick's terrible. I'm like, okay, first of all, like everyone knows that.
Will always be bad team.
I prefer Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm sure you do. Like, I'm sure you do.
All right, Putin. All right, Putin. Like, you stole one of KD's burner accounts. I see what you did here.
So when you're doing the Showtime show, what was the balance between keeping the DNA of the old show, but also trying to
just doing half and half, like just giving people what they want up top.
Yeah.
Which is like us,
you guys riffing on
current
things.
stuff, and then like kind of like
using Showtime's money and the production skills to like take the little jokes and sketches we've done on the podcast and blowing up, and people, like. Just like, yo, we make these funny sketches, these little off-one jokes, and on the podcast we have to just do them verbatim, like improv style, and just taking those really funny ones and
so you rehearsing the riffs or spelling them out, and then when you're on the show,
it's very curb your enthusiasm, where it's like
just beats. Yeah. So the script is like, yo, y'all are here.
So like we got a sketch where there's a character that's from the podcast. I'm not gonna no spoilers, but there's a character from that originated in the podcast, and we did a whole sketch based around that character doing his job badly, and it's all beats. It's like, hey, arrive here. This, this activity is supposed to happen. Go. All right, we're gonna end here. Now the next activity is supposed to happen. All right, go.
Like the next scene is me and my wife, and like we're just riffing. We're just making up stuff on it. Like it comes out because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
If
more
we're scripted,
natural,
it's like very stiff, and that's. And also, there's certain things that
it doesn't seem scripted. So I didn't know how you were doing it, but it felt the same as.
We want to keep the fluidity of the old show and just like keep the improv and off the cuff style, because like if like it was like at one point we were doing like pickups, and it was just like. You could tell, like, if a joke is like, say a joke is super funny, but like you kind of just fumble it at the end, we were just like, yo, just leave it like that. Because it's never going to have the same energy if we have to repeat it, and the crowd's not going to react the same. And,
And you have a writer's room now.
Yeah, shout out to the
writers.
How
many writers do you have?
Yeah, what is it, 6? We got 6
Yeah.
writers.
I heard it was just all white guys. I thought that was fucking weird.
No, it's all white guys. It's all white guys. We have no need for diversity. Like,
who cares? Yeah.
No, we got
4 guys.
This is how we do it. This is how they do it.
No, we have a very diverse writers room. We have Z-Way, we have Heben, we have Josh,
I figured
Mike,
it would
Robert, Claire.
Claire,
And I think that's the best part of it, the diverse, like, because Claire, for example, Claire Freeman, shout out to her. She grew up on the Upper East Side. Her father's a huge Yankees fan. So she gets that. So amazingly, like, we'll do Yankee jokes, and she's like, this is my wheelhouse. And like, you wouldn't expect, like, she's like this white girl from the Upper East Side. You wouldn't expect her to like know these references and stuff. And then so each person kind of has like the wheelhouse, and they know where to go with each joke, and they work together. And it's like, if
that was my favorite thing about doing my show, which did not last very long, but I absolutely loved the writers' room, that having like that whole group and just the spitball.
And just shooting the shit.
Because that's what when I worked for Jimmy, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And that show didn't do well the first year either, but we had like the room.
Yeah.
And the room was always the most fun part.
Because they come up with such
Nothing
wild
was
stuff.
sacred.
I love it.
Yeah, you could cross any line. It was okay. It was like all in the name of, how do I make this person laugh?
Yeah, and they'll come up with stuff, and like every now and then they'll do a sketch, and you're like, this ain't it, bro. But then sometimes they'll do something, you're like, come on, this is hilarious. Like, let's start shooting this right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a batting average. You're not going to bat 1,000.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like,
you go 3 for 10. It's great.
Going from not having any writers at all to having writers. We're used to just being like, okay, everything we do is good. That sounds very arrogant, but it's just like it's true. It's true.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So like we would go out in front of the camera.
We are the Mike
and
Francesa's
just, like,
of late night.
Exactly. Mike is woke now, by the way. But we'll get to that later.
Woke Mike.
I have a lot of. I can't wait.
I don't want to jump the gun. I just want to say Kaepernick and Mike are on the same level right now.
Yeah,
a
look,
lot of thoughts.
MLK, Rosa Parks, Michael fucking Francesa. Yo, but nah.
Wait till we're gonna remake Green Book with Mike Francesa driving us through the South.
Mike
Francesa.
Hey, first time, long time. You guys eat chicken?
Mike Francesa and Jason Whitlock.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm dying. They're just reading Kate Smith lyrics. Was this racist?
Oh, shout out to that.
Did you
I want
see
to take
that
the
clip,
credit.
though, of Mike?
Now that I see the clip, I forwarded it to like 30 people. I'm like, you just have to watch
You
this.
have
What's
to.
funny about the K. Smith thing?
I was like, he's not going to actually say
Play
the
it,
words.
yeah,
right?
I was like-
Mike's not going to say the words.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
gonna do the Mike thing. He's gonna be like,
Well, that's what he started doing.
Yeah.
He's just reading it out of the air. There's
He's like,
silence.
whoa.
People are driving like, did he die? Did he have a stroke?
Nobody does dead air like Mike.
Oh
we
my
did
God.
we covered the Kate Smith stuff on episode 122 of our podcast.
The
Yeah.
episode
right
is
off the rip, it's
literally called Pickaninny Heaven.
Yeah, we played it, and afterwards, everyone was like, "What the?"
What the
I was
fuck?
like,
Yeah.
and you know what? My beef with it was not that it was racist. I hate the version of Kate Smith, God Bless America, the Yankees play. It sounds like they downloaded it off Napster, like it's 128K.
Hot
It's so
take.
crispy and
Kate Smith, overrated with God
overrated.
Bless America.
She's
Not that
overrated.
good.
Yeah.
Kate Smith got no slappers.
Not a bring the house down kind of
No,
performance.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. It's just
I totally
very.
agree.
It's very like
When was the-
Boardwalk Empire.
When was the last time you were in a club, they put on some Kate Smith, you were like, yeah.
Yeah, this
never,
shit bangs.
Never.
It's like the Marvin Gaye 1983 NBA All-Star Game, underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Even though, or maybe properly rated, but that was like amazing.
Yeah.
The Kate Smith was,
It was all right.
I don't know.
It's just like, you hear it, you're like, all right, I'm going to the
Big
bathroom.
old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just hear it being played on one of those like old record players
Yeah,
with like
with
the
the
big
big
ass
horn.
horn on it. Like,
And then it reminds you of like the time the Yankee Stadium when that song was popular. Like I just want to say, maybe I could have watched the games. Like it was a different culture.
You know what I'm
so
saying?
why do you want to
But
remind me
if
for
we're,
that?
if
I would
we're
have
going to
to
go
put,
back
like-
to 1931, though, if we're really going to legislate 90 years ago in what was okay, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
We are.
And by the
but-
way, guess who didn't have black people on
Red
their
Sox.
team?
Yeah.
Every MLB team. Yes, all the teams.
No, we're quite aware because every time
But
I
also
look
the
at the
Red
black
Sox.
and white
Every
photos,
single
I'm like,
team.
wow,
Yeah.
I have a black and white photo with no black. And they're just like, but that back then they're eating like
So
mud
what do we
pies
do?
and like home run.
We just did a Rewatchables podcast on Field of Dreams.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the biggest flaw in Field of Dreams, which is even, you know that movie, right?
yeah. Kevin Costner, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
build it, they will come. Yeah.
James Earl Jones is the writer.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann, like the 60s, 70s, like social activist
Mhm.
writer. And they have this field, and it's just all white guys coming back to the field. It's like, could have thrown like three
Just-
Negro leaguers in there. Like
Three,
Satchel
little
Paige
Satchel
wasn't
Paige
available.
or somebody, you know what I
Josh
mean?
Gibson couldn't
Come
have
on,
made the
somebody.
trip.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
But it's like the hugest glitch in that. But the point is, like, if you're gonna go like pre-1950,
You're gonna-
it's
you're
gonna
gonna-
be ugly
It's gonna be
across
ugly.
the
Get
board.
ugly.
Oh yeah.
But then it's
There's
just like
no wins.
there's no wins. So don't even.
So I don't know what to
even
do.
approach
I would
the
have gotten
topic.
rid of it because it was a bad song.
That's
Yeah.
what they should have ran with.
Yeah.
Like they should. This whole thing about we just came across her racially tinged song. No, all darkies go to heaven.
Yeah,
What? Like,
that's the reason darkies were born.
yeah, man, that's not racially tinged. That is a splash of
That's
racial
just like-
adobo.
Well, what about the whole thing where it's like, actually, she was parodying?
That's the
She's
thing. too.
parroting
It's just
what-
like,
yeah,
oh,
it's like,
okay.
ah,
satire, like,
In 1930,
Like 1930s, they didn't have a polio vaccine or satire. Let's stop it. Like,
Yeah, Barstool Sports was not around in 1930.
What are you talking about? Portnoy came off the Mayflower. Like, what's up, guys? What's up,
What's
guys?
up,
I'm reviewing
guys?
this. Bought this pizza from England. Let's see how the king likes it.
You guys, Toronto Maple Leafs, you guys suck. Your team sucks. The Bruins are way better. They get the pucks deep. Yeah. And then he has brief. He
Some
has
hot hockey Boston accent talk. But can we talk about the decision? I don't know how many producers Mike has.
Mhm.
At some point, Mike's like, let's get into this Kate Smith thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, somebody in the room's got to be like, actually, Mike, don't.
No,
Don't.
Mike, please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Please
This could go
don't.
very wrong.
To be
Please
fair, though,
don't.
after I watched that clip, I thought the ending was going to be totally different.
He pulled it off
Yeah.
in a weird way,
Yeah.
except for maybe talking about some of the words.
Yeah.
Maybe I might not have done that.
But you know what? For online, everyone was like, they were really surprised the way
Yeah.
he handled it. Because
Yeah.
that
'Cause
was
it's
a
like,
normal
you know,
Francesa.
Mike is a boomer. Mike is an Italian New York guy.
Mike
so
is friends
like,
with Trump.
Exactly. So then, like, you would expect him to be like, who cares? You know what I mean?
Like the caller was.
Yeah. So he was just like total opposite. So that was just like, wow, oh shit.
Well, you have kids.
Yeah.
Watching that clip and not knowing anything about it,
Mm-hmm.
it was that same sensation you have when your kid's like walking towards some bookcase or crawling towards
trouble.
some bookcase that's about to
Got
pull the
pulled out.
bookcase.
And you're like,
No, I
didn't do the wall anchor thing.
What made me nervous was the clip was 2 minutes. Because usually a Mike Francesa clip is like 30 seconds, boom, bam. When it's 2 minutes, you're like, there's a lot of stuff from terrible problematic stuff to develop.
There's a lot of turns that he can make in this road that could not be good for him.
Well, when he came on your last show.
Yeah. The Pope.
Yeah.
That was a big get. That was the one we put on. Everyone was like,
shout out to you.
Shout out to Ben. Made it happen.
You know
That was big. But I am worried because this whole new thing where people call it a crank call him.
Yeah,
and
it's getting out of
derail
control.
his show.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. As someone who used to listen, I used to listen to the show, and
respect
it's not
the institution.
Yeah, and then
Come
also
on.
like let people have actual questions. Like Mike might not answer them correctly, but at least we're gonna talk about sports. If you're just calling up there and you're just like, hey, you think the Yankees should get Giambi for first base? Like,
Yeah,
come on, we do that every day.
Yeah, the guy
like,
that called in and was just like, "Hey, Mike, you think with the all the injuries going on with the Yankees, how about calling up some guy, like old timer like Don Mattingly or something like that?" And he's just like, "All right, okay." This guy waited 3 hours to ask me that question. When you get back from Mars, try again.
Yeah, you can see it just his energy changes. He becomes more hostile, and then you get the ass kissing call afterwards. Like, "Hey, Mike, I hate when guys do that. Hey, you're the best. You're the Pope. Just gonna hang up and listen." It's like, okay,
Mike, what do you think about Noah Syndergaard? Is there too many vowels in his name? I'll hang up and listen.
Too many vowels. I do think that whole version of how to do radio just feels like it's from another era now. Because I think podcasts, the conversations and the level of intelligence and the comedy, whatever you're getting for it, and they're so specialized now.
Yeah.
Or the bigger ones are just good.
Yeah.
Like this one, this is a good conversation, I would like to say.
Yeah.
But to just be like, all right, let's take some calls. Vinny from Yonkers. Hey, Mike. And then it's like, what are the odds that's going to go well?
Yeah.
Like 1 in 4?
Yes.
I mean, the fact
And
that
that's
it's just like
that's your content for an hour.
they're like, here's one guy and just give him the mic for 5 hours every day. It's like, there's no way. Like I used to watch that.
Nuts.
I used to watch that on the Yes Network, and it was just like, bruh. He's run out of things. Like he's like, all right, we're gonna get into golf now. And I'm just like, I was like, do you even watch golf? You know about it as much about it as I
went
do.
I went on his show last month and was just berating him about Zion. I was like, you're on the wrong side of history on this one. You have to change your opinion on this. Like Zion's gonna be like a transcendent NBA
he had
player.
like the wild hot take on it.
Just back off. Like it's okay. You were wrong. And he's like, here's your get out of jail free card.
I never said that, Bill.
He's not. He's too big. He's too big. He's not. He's gonna grow. What is he gonna be? 300 pounds.
Mike, I never said that. When he's all rookie, like rookie of the year, first NBA team. Yeah, he's like, I never said that.
Like when he said UVA was never winning the title. That's the thing, though. You say dumb shit. I have so many dumb things. Like,
if you're on the radio for 5 fucking hours every day, it's like you're gonna say a lot of dumb shit.
You get too comfortable. You think and like we do that sometimes on the podcast. Every now and then, we'll say something, and it's like, that has to be edited out.
I used to write these draft diaries. I have one from 2012 where the Portland takes Damian Lillard over Austin Rivers, and I'm just crushing them for a paragraph.
Because they took over.
Take the 22-year-old Damian Lillard or a 19-year-old higher ceiling Austin Rivers. Great pick, guys. And it's like, hey, can we? You guys destroy that from the archives? Yeah, I've had some bad ones.
Yeah, I've had some bad takes.
Can we hear about Bronxchella?
Bronxchella. Woo! Shout out to the click. First of all, we had the wild Airbnb that was just like 5 bedrooms. Coachella was weird. It was like, I don't know how many Ariana Grande songs but apparently I know every one of them because I was just standing there in the desert in like a drug rug just singing along. I found out what a drug rug is. It's that hemp poncho that you always see like college students who don't go to class and they're in the quad playing hacky sack.
Yeah, why is it called a drug rug?
Because you smoke drugs while you wear it. It's basically a rug.
Oh. So I thought it was like to sell drugs.
No. It's like to be comfortable smoking doobies. And then Justin Bieber came out, and for some reason I became like a 14. I was like, the Biebs! Everyone was like, yeah, calm down.
Biebs has a couple good songs.
So good. Like, they were killing it. And it was
I know this from my 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
It's a couple good songs.
The thing about Coachella, not to flex, if you have an artist pass, the experience is way different than just regular admission. Regular admission, you're just there with like 5 million people. Artist pass, you're just on the other side of the gate looking at the 5 million people. Like, look at you, pores. Also, I bought a $60 pizza. Boom, boom.
What'd you think of Palm Springs?
Palm Springs
Interesting drive, right?
It's long out there. It's
just a long highway for just 90 minutes. All of a sudden, there's like a casino.
Yeah, I mean, people actually live out there.
There's some cactuses, and then there's some houses.
Mountains and stuff, wind farms.
Oh, that's where they have that tennis club. That's where they have a tennis tournament. That's the one where Serena, that was like some
and she got into,
yeah.
I could see that.
Go back.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, it's a lot of old people. It's a weird vibe out there. I kind of like it.
It definitely feels like the California I heard about growing up versus, because I was like, oh, California, cactus and stuff. I was like, no, this is like a major city. But out there, it's like, we in the desert for like. I always thought people in Coachella.
A dust storm.
I thought people in Coachella were being cool with the mask over their face. No, you definitely need it because the wind will blow and all of a sudden you got gravel in your eyes and stuff. And I was like,
where you want to be when you're old. Because there's casinos and restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
For like old.
If you're like, you're like 80.
Okay.
There's golf courses.
I thought middle age, like
not that expensive.
Yeah.
Like that's where like Super Dave lived. He lived in like Palm Desert.
And then what do? They just
then
leave?
You just fly him in for curb. Yeah.
They leave for Coachella though, and then they come back.
Yeah, they rent their houses out for like 20 grand.
If you can have a house out there, and if you rent it out for Coachella and what's the other festival? The Stagecoach. You pay your mortgage for the.
You just have to clean up the vomit and the drug rug. The drug rug that's crammed
actual
in
drugs.
There was a binder.
Washer dryer.
There was a binder there with all the rules and everything. Like, you can't if you get an Airbnb and you trash it, you're done. You're probably never getting another Airbnb. I think we might have left that Airbnb cleaner than when we got there.
All right, we're going to take a break to talk about Vudu, a leading streaming app, a library of over 150,000 titles available to rent or buy, from the latest Hollywood blockbusters to your favorite indie films. They recently launched an ad-supported on-demand service with over 8,000 titles you can watch for free, including classic movies and TV shows. Movies like Paddington, Legally Blonde, Stargate, whatever you're looking for, completely free. They're also the presenting sponsor of the Rewatchables podcast. Wow, they're back. I think we're doing Mean Girls next week. So yeah, that's happening too. Watch it for free on Vudu before you tune into the next episode. Vudu is available wherever you watch TV. They make it easy to access all your favorite entertainment with the click of a button. Enjoy Vudu on your smart TV, Roku, Chromecast, iPhone, or Android. Online, no subscriptions, no contracts, just free entertainment. I got to say, this is another one of my favorite products. They had, I did the Fast Furious bundle. I got all 8. They'll do these special discounts on bundles, and you can just clean up on like the Godfather collection, Die Hard collection. What would you get, Kyle?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Rundown forever.
Yeah, they'll have deals. You got to watch on Vudu. They also have all the vacation movies right now. You can check those out. Vudu.com/rewatchables, VUDU.com/rewatchables. Sign up, start watching today, and catch up on Mean Girls before next week's rewatchable episode at VUDU.com/rewatchables. Back to the Bodega Boys. So, like, what's your recognizability at this place? Are people just yelling at you at this point?
Taking pictures left and right.
Is that still weird for you?
No, I've come to terms with it, especially after this weekend. Like, it's like cool because like you meet no one. It wasn't one of those things where you got to watch out because someone's gonna punch you in the back of the head. It's just like you're meeting people and they're shaking and they're like, I can't believe I'm meeting you, and you're like, oh, let's flick it up, and like they think you're.
Don't you find that it varies from cities? Because like in New York, those guys must feel like when they meet you, it's like you've been in their life for a few years. They're just going to immediately
New York people
and then just they're mid-conversation.
No, I've noticed New York people do the point or the head nod. Like they don't have the conversation. They're like,
oh, they don't have the conversation.
No, they're like, oh, I see you. Like, or they go, you're, and you just keep it moving.
It'll like, it's weird because like I didn't go to Coachella. I would, like, it was Easter, Passover. My kids had basketball and shit. Yeah, so I was just like, I stayed home, and but not like I was going out a lot with them, and then it would just be like even at the basketball training camp, it was just like there was 3 or 4 dads there. They were like, "Yo," you know what I mean? But they do that thing where they're like, and then they wait for you to be like, "Yeah, I'm Mero," yeah, and they're like, "Yo, man, love the show." Like two of the dads at the training camp were like, "Yo, I love the show, man. You gonna be here next week?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. I'm coming here every Monday to watch my kids hoop." But like it's like. I never thought that like at a local community center
right.
with like, 10 kids there, that 3 or 4 of the dads that were there were gonna be like, "Yo, I love your show, bro," and I was just like, "Holy shit!" But then it kind of made sense because
there was a line for
age group.
There was a line for the pedicabs that take you through the parking lot at Coachella.
Yeah.
Which is $10 a head, like unless you don't want to walk
He
it.
knows like all the prices for everything.
Oh yeah. Listen. So we're online for the pedicab. It's a long line, and all of a sudden you just hear "you're," and I was like, "All right, there's one person." And I go "you're," and then you hear other, "Oh my God, it's him!" And like it's like 20 people on this line, like "you're Bodega Hive," and I was like, "This is nuts." Also, shout out to Bodega Hive for having money for Coachella. I'm very proud of you. We have come so far as an audience.
Really emotional.
We've gone from me and Mero sharing a Metro card to do our first podcast to having our face on a Metro card. And now look, our fans have cars.
What's their pose when they pose for pictures with you?
It's always like, "Yo,"
It's like,
fingers
up or
like,
X.
like,
It's
yo.
like if you were boxers, there's always that.
There's
you have
always
to do
like,
you do the
you know
fist
what I mean?
up, like
Yeah.
when you have the picture with Sugar Ray Leonard or
Or
somebody.
we do the stereotypical club pose where like the fan is right here and you
It's
point
like,
at them like, "Yo, it's the
my
man right here."
The point's
so they
a
can
good
put
one.
it on
Yeah.
Instagram like, "Yo, with the homies."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's totally changed because like I had my book tour in 2009 and there were really no cell phone cameras at all. So it was just like sign the book.
Yeah,
now 10 years
2000
later, I bet it's like 2009.
Photos are so much better
That was a good
because
year.
signing autographs is weird because I don't have like a
Except for one thing.
professional autograph.
Yeah.
So like people ask me to sign an autograph, I'm signing the same way I sign my personal checks, and I was like, "There's got to be a better way than this." Like,
Right. Well,
so
now it's got to be all selfies if you
it's
do a
all
book tour.
selfies.
Oh yeah.
Because that's
Like,
how people.
I
If people come up
love
and
doing
say-
autographs though.
If people come
Yeah.
up and say, "I want an autograph," I'm like, "No, just pull your phone out. No one has time for this." Because doing an autograph is like, say we're coming out like 30 Rock or something. The car is right there. We have to get in the car and get out of there. You doing an autograph, then this next person, "I want an autograph. I want an autograph." Now you're doing 6 autographs. Then people are like, "I don't know who you are. I want an autograph too." Whereas before it's like, "Yo, y'all want pictures? Boom, 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 boom. Dap security up, get in your car, get out of there."
The tough thing is when it's like, can I get a picture? Sure. And this has happened I've been on the side of it, but I've also had it when taking a picture.
I
It's
don't
like,
know what the camera icon looks
Wait,
like.
hold on 1 second. Oh, damn it, I locked it. Bob, can you give me the
Can I
passcode?
press it?
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right, you have your arm around somebody. You're like, do I take my arm down?
One of the worst ones, I think, was Yankee Stadium, and some guy was like, "Yo, my girl loves you. Like, it'd be huge.
Like, really loves you.
Loves you. Like, can you FaceTime
I'd like to
her?"
watch.
And wow. Snuck that one in there, Bill.
Yeah, nice.
He's like, "Yo, could you
The
FaceTime my
corruption
girl?"
of Bill. Yeah.
So I'm like, "Sure, no problem. Call your girl or whatever." And he's not getting reception. I was like, "All right, you gotta go on the Yankee Stadium Wi-Fi." So he's like, "Oh, how do you do that?" I was like, "All right, open your browser. You have to go to Yankee.com, put it in airplane mode. Now you have to register. They're gonna text you." I was like, "You know what? You take care of this. We meet back here the 3rd inning. We will do
Smart.
the FaceTime thing." Because listen, I'm not doing genius tech support right now. And like stuff like that, or people who just like they've never used the camera app before.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they take off their glasses and they're
Fumbling
like,
with the shit. Yeah.
they're like,
nah.
"You know how to do this?"
I've been doing graffiti since I was 11. Like autographs are way easier for me. Just Mero, boom. BX, love you, peace, boom. Here, go. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's something tangible that they could be like, "Yo, this is it. Wow, he really took out time. He
I like
wrote
the
this thing
autographs
for me."
more personally.
You know
I've
what
never
I mean?
liked autographs. It
Right.
just seems because it's like, "Oh, look, I met someone and they signed this." Like, okay.
So now you think the picture.
A picture is much more of a flex. You throw it on Instagram and people are like, "Yo, I can't believe you met him." Go throw an autograph on go throw an autograph on your Instagram, and no one under
I'm gonna do that
50
today.
is going to be it's like,
signature.
"Oh wow, you met Lenny Dykstra." Like, no one cares.
They definitely wouldn't care now.
Now,
So have you thought about going to more than once a week or no for the show?
we'll
talking
see,
about it.
we'll see what happens.
I wish it was on more often.
Yeah, I mean,
I just
you know what it
Like
is? Because
having
people
you
got
guys
used to
in
seeing
life
us so
more. Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll ramp it up. We'll see. Like, there's definitely a demand for more, and
Yeah.
we're trying to figure
That's
out how
the
to do it.
only negative criticism that we have received is it's not enough.
not enough.
Yeah. It's never
That,
been
by the
like,
way, that's
you know,
if
like
you're gonna get criticized for something. That's
Right.
probably the number
The
one,
best thing
the
to get
number
crit-
one you'd
We
want.
need to
I want
move this-
more of you.
We want to do we need Showtime. Showtime, if you're listening, give us the Mike Francesa deal. Give us 5 hours every day.
Yeah.
Just 5 hours just in the chair just talking with no facts.
okay.
So Damian Lillard, he's bad for the sport.
Mons,
He's pulling up for 40.
Mons, is Damian Lillard black? Can we confirm that?
Well, you could get more of you on Showtime, but I like your idea of the crossovers.
Oh yeah.
You're getting more of us. We're on Ray Donovan tonight.
But then it would just ruin it because we don't know the plot lines. I'm like, "Hey,
Yo,
Ray,
what are you
Ray,
doing?
we're gonna shoot.
He's like, "No,
Are
we're
you
not."
Ray?
Are you ready? Are we gonna drink whiskey and shoot people? Let's go.
I'm trying to think. Wait, there was one other topic. There's a music topic, and I'm blanking. That I want to hit with you guys. Oh, the Beyonce Netflix special.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Everybody went nuts about this.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Bill.
Is it okay that I just thought it was fine? It was fine.
You know
okay
what?
to say it's fine.
You're in a safe space. I don't think the Beehive is going to come for you, but
It was fine.
This is the thing. Like, Beyonce.
you can't just say it was fine. What, are you saying the performance was fine, or are you just saying
It was
Netflix
fine.
saying it was fine?
I don't really love concert documentaries that much. It was
But
it was
so
fine.
You got to look at what went into it. The fact that she practiced for 6 months to perfect it. She had just had
Totally
twins.
respect it.
She was like eating eggshells and stuff.
Great.
Like, you know, and then if you
was
saw the
fine.
actual quote, Bill, I'm trying to help you here. I don't want
wasn't
you to
against
go.
it.
I don't want your timeline to just be like the bee emojis, because it will. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that, Bill.
Listen,
They threw a lemon at Ariana Grande at Coachella. Someone carried a lemon all around Coachella all day just for this little girl to come on stage to
was
throw it
fine.
at her.
It might have been for scurvy.
You
too.
guys are
You never
afraid of
know.
the Beehive.
I've seen what they've done.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
seen what
like,
they've
I thought it was fine.
I'm not gonna say I'm
I
afraid.
think it changed my life.
Do you remember that Macaulay Culkin movie, My Girl?
Yeah,
Remember at the end when he dies from the bee stings?
that's what could happen.
Don't be that guy.
Just trying to think of how many concert documentaries were
That's what I'm saying,
changed
like,
my life. Like
that-
Springsteen on
it's-
Broadway was on
it's-
Netflix.
Well, they don't
I
really
was like,
make
it was
concert.
fine.
They don't
That's
really
what
make
I'm saying.
concert
It's
documentaries
less
anymore.
about it being about Beyonce and more, for me, it's less about it being about Beyonce and more about it being a concert documentary.
That's what I mean.
Because the last one I saw was the Michael Jackson one, This Is It. And
It
I
was
was just
fine.
like, yo, this is
No,
Michael
this
Jackson.
is much different because this is
know
about
what I mean? I was
Beyonce
like,
showing that she, like, everything on that stage was like, she had it. She had the details in mind. Everything had to go through her. And it was like, there's a respect for it because it wasn't like, yo, let this production company do this. She was like, yo, I want these people sitting here and I want this word cut in the back of his head. And I want the camera to swoop down, focus on that, and then come to me. And it's just like, when you see that level of detail went into the actual Coachella performance, you have no choice but to respect it. It's like watching
I respected it. It
LeBron
was fine.
or somebody at the top of their game.
I saw To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway. It was the same thing. Like, level of detail was awesome.
Amazing, yeah.
I really liked it, but I also really liked it because I was there for it. I think with concert documentaries,
Well, did you watch the Coachella live? It was like 4 a.m. But
No.
Well, if you had watched it live, you'd probably have a different respect for the documentary.
in person.
No, not in person. Like,
What do you mean?
We all stayed up super late last year to watch Beyonce perform at Coachella and watched it live. So after doing that, it was just like, this documentary is a no-brainer because you're watching it and like, how did she pull this off?
I guess I don't know what I want from a concert documentary at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Because I would just rather be at the concert. You know?
Yeah.
And
You want to see
also-
the finished product. Sometimes you don't want to see how the sausage is made, and sometimes you do.
Well, the other problem is YouTube has stepped on the concert footage to the point where
Yeah,
I had already seen all the Beyonce stuff when it was on YouTube with people holding their phones. So it was like,
that's true.
you know,
I'd
back
rather
in the day, it was like, I have no idea what this
What
artist
happened,
is. Like,
yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, when I was a kid, it was just like these mythic stories of going to the Springsteen shows. There was no actual footage of it that I
Right.
could
Yeah.
see.
The thing that I didn't, not that I didn't like about the documentary, but it was just like, it kind of like, there's this mystique around Beyonce where it's just like when she
Yes.
performs, everything is perfect. Like even in the Super Bowl thing where she fell and she just like, it was an accident, but she made it look like part of the routine, and she never flubs shit on stage when she performs.
So do you think
You
she
know what I
has
mean?
the highest approval rating of any celebrity right now?
Absolutely, probably. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
What's the top 5?
Top 5 approval ratings?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Beyonce, Mike Francesa, us, you, and Tommy.
Mike Francis.
yeah,
And K. Smith.
100%. And K. Smith is slipping in the rankings. She has a little red arrow down.
See,
from
what if Beyonce had covered Kate Smith at Coachella?
Listen,
Ooh.
She would have changed some of the lyrics.
What if she left? Well, it would sound different coming out her mouth. Then
Look,
you're like, that's satire.
But this is the thing too. Like there's fan bases that are so rabid,
Yeah.
that they will dance in circles. So like that was a joke. But like if she actually would have did that, they would the Beehive would have found a way to justify that shit. Be like, oh, it was satire. She was just bringing attention to something that was very problematic or whatever.
You know what? The Beehive never had to explain the Beyonce song. It's just like the Beyonce song is there. If you don't get it, fuck you. That's literally how the fan base works.
What are your Billie Eilish thoughts?
She's fucking great. Loved her. I immediately got
That's
back
my
to
daughter's favorite one right now.
I immediately got back to the house and downloaded the album. I was like, this shit is great.
Yeah, I asked
We're
my
actually-
kids.
Your kids listening or no?
I asked my oldest son, and he was like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
We're actually
Put on
going.
Migos.
It's a daughter thing.
We're
I think.
doing Life is Beautiful in Vegas, and she's gonna be there. So
What is Life is Beautiful?
It's a huge.
It's like a
huge
festival thing.
The
Shout out to
XX
Vampire Weekend.
Vampire
the homie
Weekend's gonna be
Ezra.
there.
Oh, it's like a music festival?
Mhm.
Yeah. And
When
we're-
is that?
What is-
I'm sure we're sending
September?
Ringer people.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy's already.
Yeah,
Tommy
he's
already
on
has a
it.
shirt
Come on.
on.
He's on it.
Tommy's
You guys
ready.
met shirtless Tommy at Coachella.
Yeah.
Coachella Tommy is the Coachella Jesus is the best Jesus. Coachella Tommy is the best. Tommy.
Best version of Tommy.
Best version. We're different people. Totally different people. I was like, I'm not
So
coming
if
back
you
to
had
the Bronx.
tried to do this, what would the reaction have been at home for you?
What do you mean? No, like my wife was like, "Go if you want to go," and I was just like, "I don't want to go. I want to because my kids were starting basketball, and like."
But was it a go if you want to go, but kind of side eyeing you at the same time, or like a legitimate go if you want to go?
No, just like a legitimate like who's all going, and I was like, "Oh, so and 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 so." She's like, "You should probably go," and then I was just like, "Nah." I was like, "Easter's." My mom is in town from the Dominican. You know what I mean? Like my sisters, like it was like a perfect storm of like my entire family being in town at the same time. My brother. My godson, like, you know what I mean? My kids were starting basketball. So it was just all shit that I really wanted to be there and
What
see.
kind of sports parent are you?
I'm not that guy, but I'm the guy that like, so at a certain point, like my oldest son, Adrian, like he was getting frustrated with the dribbling drills because they were like, you know how they do like the one hand behind your back, dribble with your right one, put your right hand back, dribble with your left. He couldn't get the left down and he was getting really frustrated. And then he just was like, he threw the ball down and he just came up to me and he was just like, basically like, fuck this, I don't want to do this.
That's little kids now.
Yeah, and I was just
If
like,
they're not good right away. They
exactly. He's like, this is
I
embarrassing.
spent 6 minutes and I'm not good at it yet.
I'm not LeBron, so I want to quit. And I was like, nah. I was like, yo, listen. I was like, there's 5 positions on a basketball court.
Yeah.
Like you could be good. Like look at Kyle Korver. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Kyle Korver could take anybody off the dribble. That's a legit NBA player. But he has a role that he plays. I was like, yo, you're a good shooter. You're a good passer. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter that you can't fucking cross everybody up and do all this other crazy shit. Like, just relax. Like, and this is practice. They're not playing games. They're not scrimmaging yet. So it's just like pure.
This sounds like good dadding.
Running serious, suicide,
That's decent.
lateral movement.
You got to bring him as your
all that type of
proxy
shit.
when you want to yell at the coach and the players. My daughter
be the
had a
hard
basketball
Jamaican.
game, and LeBron's son had the game before at the gym. And
That
LeBron-
kid is incredible.
No, this was the younger one.
Oh,
the
the
other
younger
kid, I agree with you. That
Bronny
kid,
is out of control.
Bronny's really good.
Oh my God.
And it was just weird to see LeBron in a gym. He was in the corner, like he was protected. He's 6'8.5". He's
Can't miss
one
him.
of the most famous people in the world. You're gonna see him. And he stayed, and then that game ended, and my daughter's game was up, and they're like in the warm-ups, but he's waiting for the kid to come out. And now he's just watching my daughter's game. And they're doing the
Scouting
layup
her?
line, and they're like, LeBron James is just kind of like, why? Because he's like, hey, it's basketball.
Yeah.
People love basketball. Like, oh, another basketball game. So he watched the first quarter. I was convinced we were going to suck, but we actually did all right. But it is, when you're doing that at that low of a level, but the second best person ever to do it is like 11 feet away, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's a little disorienting.
Second best?
Yeah, second best. Maybe third best.
Ooh.
Kareem. Kareem's, Kareem had like 6 MVPs.
I would take Magic over Jordan. Straight full stop.
As your GM?
As a better basketball player.
Wow.
Straight up.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
and then like LeBron is like
Even
Magic
Magic-
2.0.
even Magic
wouldn't
do
do
that.
I don't agree with that
I
assessment.
I
don't
mean,
support
like, could LeBron do the stuff that Magic did? Think about it.
But I mean, that's an unfair comparison because it's like two different
He's
leagues.
he was a
Different
better
leagues.
scorer. Magic was a better teammate and passer, I
Yeah.
think.
That's what I'm saying.
Also,
So
Magic
that's
gets
the guy
props
that-
for just like abandoning
Magic-
the Lakers. I respect that the way he did it.
Well, it's interesting because he was an awesome. He would pull teams together. Even like that last team he was on that made the finals in '91
Mhm.
wasn't like a great team, but he's like, all right, this is my team.
Yeah.
And LeBron last year was kind of the opposite. It seemed like the only guy that he really liked was Lonzo.
Yeah.
Lonzo got the shop invite
Because he played.
Oh,
Because
Yeah,
he played
get
and he
invited
played
to the
well.
shop.
And he wasn't a goof. You know what I mean? I feel like LeBron is just like, he comes in and he's just like, also, being a Celtics fan, how ridiculous do you think it is to just say fuck it? Because they're talking about Ty Lue coming back to coach the Lakers, and it's like, oh, this is all GM LeBron back at work. You know what I mean? How ridiculous would it be to just have LeBron be the player coach?
So it's illegal.
yeah.
But here's the catch.
It's illegal now?
It's literally illegal.
Why? Because Bill Russell
They
did it
just
and won
made a rule,
1,000 fucking
Yeah,
championships?
Bill Russell won too.
it also
um,
seems. It just seems.
But
like
there's a catch.
necessary.
You make Dwayne Wade the coach, and he's just like drinking Cabernet in the sidelines, but LeBron's really
LeBron's
running
really
the
running the show?
Yeah, he's wearing nice suits.
watch that.
A listener sent that email last week. I thought it was
That's
genius.
brilliant. That is brilliant.
He's just like, he's on the, yeah, you should do it. LeBron's just pouring wine.
He's just in the huddle like,
Gabrielle Union's like the trainer. Like just go the whole way.
Just let LeBron
Put
run
all
it.
your buddies. Maverick Carter, make him like the assistant.
Yeah.
Just put all your dudes in. That's what he does with everything else.
Yeah. Fuck it.
I don't
Why
think it's a
not?
bad
That's
idea.
not a bad idea
He'd
whatsoever.
probably play harder if he was around his
well,
people.
around
all the
people he
time.
wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all my guys.
Yeah, because if
Less
you got like a bunch
injuries.
of like, and that, like, if you think about it, like I talked to my wife about this shit the other day. I was like, listen, this is wild because I'm watching NBA games now, and like through the course of like my basketball fandom, it's been, oh, I'm a kid. These are grown-ups playing a grown-up game.
Yeah.
Then you're in your 20s and you're like, yo, these guys are my same age. Now you're in your,
Late 30s, whatever.
mid 30s, and it's just like, okay, me and Melo are the same age, essentially.
So Melo's your guy for this? Because mine was Ken Griffey Jr., who's been retired for like 10 years.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
just like,
that was the time
With the
you were
same
just like,
birthday?
Yeah.
everything.
yeah. So it's just like,
Melo's your guy. He's just sitting courtside.
yeah. But the thing is, it's like, now you see these young dudes coming out, and it's like, oh shit, wait a minute. Like, time moves on. You know what I'm saying? I wanna still like rally behind Melo and Dwayne Wade and LeBron
Yeah, the
and all
banana
these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, yo, these dudes are clearly in decline. You know what I mean? Like Chris Paul, like all these guys. Like it's like they're in the twilight.
Damn,
of their careers.
we just met Chris Paul. Why you throwing him on the bus, bro?
No, but like it's true.
He's
like,
at a different point of his career.
yeah,
Listen.
he's a different Chris Paul.
No, you gotta remember.
Your career
if
goes
you haven't-
up
If
and
you
it
have
goes
them on the
down.
show, you can't say anything bad about them.
No,
Like,
I'm
they're
not saying
straight
anything
people.
bad. It's just like, yo,
That's how Tommy books them.
he's been, in the
Because Tommy
league a
could
long
be like,
time.
yo, they love you, they rock with
Chris
you.
Paul
And
doesn't
yo,
like me. He
He doesn't like you?
he side-eyed me.
He's out of
recently.
Damn.
Why? What'd you say?
Apparently I did something, either a podcast or
How often does that happen? How is it when that happens? Are you just like, I don't even remember what I said, or do you remember exactly?
No,
what
that
you
one
said?
I wrote when the Clippers lost to the Jazz. That series, I wrote a piece about the last days of the point guard.
Mhm.
Where basically like his career is about to go to a different level.
Right.
And this is what the case with NBA history, and it's like this is what happens to point guards.
Yeah.
I was 100% right.
Right.
It's like point guards have a 10, 11-year run, and then they go to a different phase.
Do
of
they
their
ever
career.
call you or like text you after they read something or they heard you?
No.
No.
I do think we're entering a world now where if you write a takedown piece of somebody, and people don't write them the same way anymore, they're a lot softer. But
Right.
I do think a player would just go at them on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because we saw Michael Che did this recently with a writer that's actually done some stuff with us, Steve Hyden.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a piece about Michael Che's co-host on Weekend Update that was not flattering. And Michael Che just started going at the guy.
Oh wow.
And I do wonder if that's going to be next decade a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if somebody wrote a piece ripping you guys, you would probably have some fun with it.
Oh yeah, I've gotten banned from Twitter several times for that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Banned from Twitter?
Yeah, he gets like
What
I
happens?
get thrown in Twitter jail. all
Is
the
there
time.
a Twitter Adam Silver?
Yeah.
You have to go see him?
No,
It's
he
just
gets-
like
he gets Twitter. I'm
people
not-
get report me for saying shit like, and I'm just like, I don't care. It's fucking-
I'm at the point I'm about to get off Twitter. There's no point of it. It's just we've been on this since 2008. Like
yeah.
it's at this point being on Twitter is a bigger liability than it is a benefit.
Well,
to you.
the cost, the
Cost
what's
be-
that thing? The cost benefit
ratio.
thing?
Yeah,
that
It's just
ratio
like-
is way out of whack. for
Because now
guys
the higher you get, the more explode. Like a casual tweet that you could have got away with 5 years ago could destroy your career, and it's just like why would you even risk that? You know, like you certain celebrities, you like this weekend we were talking to them, and they was like, "Fam, I do not fuck with social media at all. There's no upside to it. There's no upside. Like they'll tweet out, "Oh, my show is coming on," but they won't tweet actual opinions.
become more
or hot
promotional.
take. It's become more promotional, and then. We had a weird relationship because we grew up and Twitter was personal. It was like a diary. It was like, yo, I hate my job. Now you have 1 million followers or whatever. You can't tweet the same way because you're just like, yo, the price of this, I can't believe milk is so. And they're like, you're rich. You don't, like, how dare you? Like, we're actually poor. How dare you complain about the price of milk? Like little things like that. Or the other day I beefed about an Uber or something and people was like, you don't even take Ubers. You have a private car. And I was like, I have to take an Uber. Like, where's this anger coming from? Like, you're mad at me because I changed my life and like I'm in a better place. Like, it's weird. And these are fans. So
Twitter's a rough place.
Twitter's a rough place. And then Twitter's not even worth it because Twitter is one of the
The
lowest.
replies are not worth it.
It's one of the lowest engagement platforms. It's like YouTube is higher, Facebook is higher. It's
true.
So because you'll go to advertisers like, yo, I got this many followers on Twitter. They're like, who still uses Twitter? Or you talk to young kids, they're like, I don't
But
mess
what's
with Twitter
funny is
whatsoever.
Twitter has made a comeback. Like their stock just went up like $10 this week because they actually had more users than they did last quarter.
Well, I mean, that's
They figured
easy.
out make money from it.
That's easy to do when you're juking the system with bots.
Bots.
I'm
They
dead.
made that deal with Russia.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Jack's
they made
doing.
the deal for the 2020 election. It's in place.
We did. We're doing a Game of Thrones post game.
They're just waiting on the Milwaukee Bucks to throw in Brogdon.
We're doing.
And it's a done deal.
We're doing a Game of Thrones post game show for them, and after certain things happen, people go to Twitter.
Yeah.
Like we saw it last night with Dame Lillard.
Oh, definitely.
And we see with
100%.
Game of Thrones, I think its ability to still drive conversation after something has happened is unparalleled.
Game of Thrones
the
might
day-to-day
be
grind that I think has suffered.
Game of Thrones might be the only non-sports television show that's still appointment watching. That you have to watch it when it comes on,
In
or
the
else it's
moment.
ruined. Like no other show is like even our show. You could binge watch like 4 of our shows on Saturday morning. If you don't watch Game of Thrones as soon as it comes out, get off of social media because spoilers. And people
it's
are
like
not
a sporting event.
Yeah. People are doing play-by-plays, and it's if you don't watch Game of Thrones, also it's just like why are you literally tweeting out what's happening on the screen? Like this makes no sense. But I mean that's how we watch sports.
Yeah, it's wild. But like to me, I'm one of those guys that doesn't really give a shit about spoilers. Like I just want to see how being in entertainment and seeing how things are shot and like whatever. Like I feel like I watch TV different now after doing TV.
Well, spoiler alert: neither of our teams are winning the World Series this year.
Oh no, the Yankees will. They'll turn a corner and they will. Everybody will come back super
bad
healthy.
juju this year.
I mean, everybody's hurt now,
Like
but it's
20
early.
injuries.
Yeah.
What happened to my dude Betances?
I mean,
He was a horse he was on my fantasy team this
Yeah.
entire decade.
He's going hard.
That's my guy.
That's it. His shoulder finally gave out. Turns out you can't strike out 2 people an inning for 10 years.
Yeah, I texted him and I was like, "Yo, get well soon, bro. Like I'm rooting for you." You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, we've had players
In
like that
Spanish.
before. Remember? I mean, you have players and you're just like, yo, they have such a positive upside. And then after a while, you're just like, this ain't. Like, remember Jesus Montero? How big the Yankees were like, this is an international superstar. And then
There's another guy who is on my team this year. I'm in this AL only league. But we have Manny Benuelos. Remember him? He had a cup of coffee as the Yankees phenom. He was like the next guy.
that's the name.
The next Guidry.
Wow.
Then he got
the next
hurt.
Guidry.
Yeah.
Remember? It was like, he's very Guidry-esque. Now he's on the White Sox.
But being a Yankee fan for so long, like, you can't, I think the longer you're a Yankee fan, like, you lower your expectations. Like, you realize, like, the Yankees haven't won since 2009. So every now and then, you start hard. You're like, boom, I got this. And we'll have a player and like, yo, this player is the truth. After the way the Yankees handled Jabba Chamberlain, I'm just kind of just like,
Well, Torres, I thought, I bet on Judge to win MVP this year. I thought this was going to be his year. So,
But you know what it is?
Great.
It's really like I'm gonna air my grievances with umpires and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is 6'8".
You think the strike zone's unfair for him?
Yeah, man. Like
Compared to Altuve?
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like if you got a guy that's 5'4", 5'5", like his strike zone is like massive. You know what I'm saying? With Judge, it's just like, anything. It's below the knees. That's a ball.
when are we switching to robo umps?
Should we do that? Should they do
we're getting-
robots
it's coming.
and lasers and shit like that?
I mean, once they started doing the replays and they limit the mound
that's
visits
coming.
and all that stuff, yeah.
We're basically there.
Yeah. Because they're doing everything now. They're trying to rejigger baseball for like this new generation. Because everyone's like, baseball, the games are too long. Now, as a Red Sox Yankee fan, like I'll take a 4-hour game. I don't give a shit. But,
I watch a 22
I care
inning
more than
game.
I did about how fucking long they are.
I mean, if it's like a night game, I'm like,
there was
something.
there was some clip that was on Twitter last week where it was a 78 Red Sox Yankees game versus 2019, and it was just 30 seconds. And it was like David Price just not pitching for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And Mike Torres throwing 3 pitches in that 30 seconds. And
Stepping out the box and all,
Torres just like got the ball back, threw it again.
Yeah.
Price is
Used to
just
be a
like
faster
staring
game.
into the catcher for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Um,
Shitting in his pants.
they could fix that.
They could fix that.
I don't think either of our teams have it.
I mean,
we have
you
such
think the Rays are going to win the AL
Well,
East?
that's what I keep hanging my hat on. Is we just played them last weekend and we swept them and
They're not a great.
there's all these dudes like, here comes Tommy Pham. He's been hot lately.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
what
all
it
right,
is. It's just a bunch of guys that get hot,
Yeah,
but that's not sustainable. That's what I keep telling people on Twitter. I was like, that shit is not sustainable. Like you have to actually be a good, consistent player to
So who
win
do
a
you
division.
see winning it all? Astros?
Astros are really good. Seattle has that feel this year of like, where'd these guys come from?
yeah.
And like a lot of guys, something to prove. But it's way too early.
Yeah, it's not even May yet.
Pitchers get hurt, and like all of a sudden somebody doesn't have their
You get
closer.
hot, you get cold.
These pitchers just get hurt all the time now.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can know until August with baseball. I always laugh when people are like, "Oh, these guys." It's like, yeah,
You always gotta
wait till their closer.
It's the
blows out
oldest
his
saying.
elbow.
There's still a lot of baseball left. I mean, there's 162 games. Like, come on, bro. Like
a lot of baseball left.
I know there's certain people that don't live 162 days. Like, come on.
All right. Anything to plug other than the show?
You got the show.
Got a book coming out soon.
Got a book coming
Random
out.
House. You know what I'm saying?
We have
A book?
Title TBD. You know what I'm saying? But
We're going with Bridges in Madison County.
You know what I'm
It's a good
saying?
night. We got that. We got the Life is Beautiful in September. What else we got? Got some shows coming up. Just check the Instagrams and stuff for that. And, we're just gonna be doing our thing. You'll see
Bringing
us around.
back Californication.
California. Oh, Californication. Wow, not the OC. Oof.
That was, yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
David
No, that was-
Duchovny.
We're also gonna bring back If These Walls Could Talk. So
It should be interesting.
Is that true?
no.
No.
He said that so deadpan. I was like, wait a second.
He
We
does shit
did-
like that all the time.
We did a lie detector test for some magazine, and at the end of it, they were like, even the truth you told was deceptive. That's what I worked hard for in my life. I don't want you to know what I'm thinking. I just want to. I'm constantly. They were like, "Say your real name." I said my real name, and the guy was like, "He's lying," and I was like, "No, that's my real name."
Fellas, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Oh,
Great
Bill,
to have you on the
Bill.
West Coast.
Every time we
You
come
know
to
what
the
I'm
West Coast, we got to do Bill's
Always
show.
a pleasure.
Like,
Always a pleasure.
Come on, man.
I got to come on your show soon.
Yeah, of
I
course.
haven't been invited yet.
I love how people are like, I haven't been invited yet. Like, it's not a birthday party,
Like,
Bill.
now you got like AOC. And
You got
people
an
like that.
RSVP
I don't know if you can
and,
squeeze me in.
I
at
mean,
some point. Jesus.
I personally feel you're a bigger star than Ben Stiller, but that's just me.
Can't I come on and read Kate Smith lyrics for 5 minutes?
Let's make it happen. Let's make it. That would be great.
Really awkwardly?
We just got like a choir behind you.
Guys, I found a song from 1937.
Kanye comes in with the chords and stuff. Starts a Sunday service.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Bill.
R. Kelly sings the hook.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
All right, thanks to Desus and Mero. Thanks to my dad. Don't forget, on Sunday night, Ryan Russillo. We're doing it again. Big NBA breakdown. Episode 3 of Throne Game. It's going to be a great 90-minute episode for Thrones. I don't know what time you're getting out here on Sunday night, Kyle.
It'll be Monday morning.
Should we buy some caffeine drink for you?
Sleeping bag. I'll bring
All
a
right,
sleeping bag.
sleeping bag. Great. Thanks to DAZN. Don't forget to order DAZN before we have the big Canelo fight next week. Thanks to SiriusXM. If you don't know SiriusXM, and I don't know why you wouldn't, listen up. Commercial-free music plus sports talk, comedy, and news. They have it all. Right now, get your first 3 months of SiriusXM outside the car for just $1. Oh, my God. Go to SiriusXM.com/BS. See offer details, subscribe. Offer available to new SiriusXM streaming subscribers. SiriusXM, no car required. And thanks to Vudu, leading streaming app with a library of over 150,000 titles available to rent or buy. Over 8,000 titles you can watch for free on their ad-supported on-demand service. Enjoy everything from the latest Hollywood blockbusters to your favorite indie films without subscriptions or contracts. I am also a Vudu subscriber. I highly recommend you check out their deals for the bundles. Fast and Furious, Godfather. They'll do like these Judd Apatow 5-packs. I have that, actually. I think I have the Judd Apatow movie 5-pack.
It's a good one.
Good job by Vudu. I like their stuff. Vudu.com/rewatchable. Sign up. Start watching today. Enjoy the weekend. R.I.P. Hondo. And we will be back on Sunday night with Ryan Russillo.